line.
They won the toss, Matthew Knights, and kicked to the left of screen. Good crowd here tonight. Richmond seem to have terrific support. There's Carey, and with him Jamie Tate. It was suggested that Gaspar might get him tonight, but he's got Danilchenko. And so the start of this second quarter-final on quarter-final weekend in Melbourne. Terrific lineup. McKernan goes high and wins it clearly from Gale out of the centre. Kicks to centre half forward, but Tate takes the mark on Carey. That'll be a key duel. Miranda a target, goes with one hand. Was a pretty good attempt in the end, but gave away a free kick, and Rock's got it. Mark McKenzie, Steve Hanley and Sam Cronje, the umpires tonight. Carey being held on to, no free kick. Might have been a bit stiff. Tate still there with him. Kellaway, courageous as always. Miranda, clever kick around the corner. Well played to Bond, to Prescott. Good football. Campbell on the run. Through the centre, goes long, inside 50 metres. North Melbourne have got numbers. Richardson made a contest of it against the odds. McKernan's back there quickly, the big man. Pushing the ball forward, Longmire. Takes a while, the handball out by Naish. Ben Holland should kick a goal. Goes for it and misses. It's a behind, but it's a sharp start here at Waverley Park.
That's a goal Ben Holland really should have kicked. It's a difficult goal. There's a bit of pressure there, but those sorts of goals you must kick early in the game because North Melbourne are noted for their strong defence, and you may not get that many opportunities like that throughout the night.
So the very open forward line for Richmond, giving them the first shot at goal. Stuart Anderson kicks the ball to himself, breaks away long, but it's Holland again, right in the thick of play early, playing a centre half forward. Wheels around now, puts pressure right on the goal square. It's deep in there. Archer. Not too many better defenders in the game than this man. You can also throw him down the front whenever you want to. Gives it off to David King with run out wide towards the wing. Carey and Tate. Carey in the front position. Tate with the favourable bounce. Carey comes back. The pressure's immense right from the start. Tossed up high. Free kick being paid.
High tackle, Wheels, that as the ball was kicked, a high tackle on Anderson, so the free kick will be taken by Anderson on the outer wing.
An unusual move by Richmond. They've got Matty Knights playing in the back pocket on Simpson.
Anderson just backward of centre wing, kicks the ball to half forward. Nation opposed. Back to Gaspar. Wide, takes a long time to get to his man, but he had some space. Gale, Brendan Gale, Michael, his brother, playing in the twos tonight. Gale long to half forward. Target was young Holland. Archer with him. Here's Simpson now having a run on the ball, which brings Knights into the play. Longmire kicks the ball back into the centre. Miranda's got it. Good player, Miranda. Came of age last year. Quickly plays on the kick to Richardson wide. Gives him a chance. Martin with him. Powell getting back. Richardson brilliant. Takes them on, goes for goal, and they like it. Do they behind the goals? I think they do. He's a great player, isn't he? Acceleration was fantastic, and Richmond lead by 7 points.
He's one of those players that are very difficult to match up because not only is he a tall fellow, he's about 6'4" in the old money. He's also very athletic, and you might get a bloke that can run with him, but you're not going to be able to get the same fella perhaps that can compete with him in the air. Mickey Martin's lined up, and Mickey's a very strong player, but Mickey's also has a reputation for being able to be led up the ground, and you can lose him in that situation, and I think that Richardson will really trouble him tonight.
So Richmond doing all the attacking to this stage. North Melbourne yet to enter their offensive 50-metre area. Gale with the jump, tosses it over the back. Archer trying to be strong through. Prescott gets the quick kick out. Laidley in defence, spins off to Stevens, the left footer. Puts out wide. Allison, he in turn in short. Ball falls short of Carey, gathers neatly, has plenty of time to turn, size it all up. Let's go towards the line, but getting back there, Matthew Knights. So very good in controlling the game, Matthew Knights.
Hang on, Matty.
Anywhere he needs to be, the captain will be tonight. You can rest assured on that. Ball into the deputy vice-captain, Duncan Kellaway. Damien Ryan onto Campbell. Looking to set up from halfback for the Tigers. Naish covering a lot of ground now. Takes them on. The bounce didn't come back to the way he wanted it. Stevens, the quick little give at the boundary line, too close. And that should be a free kick against Stuart Anderson for kicking the ball away.
I think it was David King, Wheels, but you're right. He only has two options there. One is to put the ball on the ground and the other is to give it straight back to the boundary.
Wayne Schwass, anything unusual in the lineups from your point of view?
No, I noticed that Richmond started Matty Knights down at the back pocket, but I think that's a theory employed by West Coast, starting to use their good players down there, so that'll be one to watch for later on.
Wayne Schwass, who twice the best and fairest at this club, North Melbourne. Premiership player last year. Longmire goes into Shoal. Carey, well played, brilliant handball to Chandler, to Denilchenko. Can kick a goal from 40, lines it up and he's got it. Well played, North. Carey, again the man in the middle. It's 1-1 apiece.
Well, Wayne Carey was there, but it was very impressive the way that Shoal moved up then again, because he created the situation where he didn't mark the ball, but it was a soft crumb, and that's what you want in your forward line. You want the ball just to feel softly, and then you have the players who are conditioned to get to that fall of the ball, like Denilchenko did on that occasion. North Melbourne look very dangerous when they go forward.
Well, at Waverley Park, we can only hope that the rain does stay away, because the opening of this game has just been tremendous to date. Both sides a goal each. Richardson for Richmond and Jason Denilchenko for North Melbourne. Richmond now looking to go into attack. They will through Miranda, getting the free kick for a high tackle.
And North Melbourne have already made the switch. Archer has gone down onto Richardson.
There's a little bit of howdy do. King, North Melbourne player. Still a little bit of Port Melbourne in the boy there, Tim.
Yes, you want aggression, but you want aggression without anger, Terry.
So Miranda, right on the centre wing for Richmond, drives in towards centre half forward. Richardson's the target. McKernan's back there to assist Archer. North Melbourne with the numbers. Stevens, the quick kick on the left, out. But Gale dropping back. Doing the ruck work tonight for Richmond in the absence of Justin Charles. Just floating across the first defensive line, pushing the ball now deep into the forward line for Richmond, right to the square. Evans, the Richmond player in the front position, number 19. Peter Bell at ground level for North Melbourne to Laidley. McKernan does enough with the Shepherd. Laidley going towards Rock under pressure. Can't complete the mark, but has picked up the free kick again.
Free kick for high contact, Wheels, in the marking contest.
So these two players, Chris Bond on the mark, number 35. Anthony Rock for North Melbourne will be at it all night. Shoal in the front position. Will pick up the free kick.
And just an indication of what Dennis Pagan thinks about Mark Miranda. He's put his best tagger, John Blanky, on him.
Denilchenko, target Carey with him at tape. Nash coming across, free kick Carey. Being held on to. Carey to the pocket, weighted the kick perfectly to Stevens. Just outside 50, can run around Prescott and goes long to the goal square. Good looking kick, setting himself at the back. It looks like a mark to North Melbourne. And be careful, boys, it might be 50. Longmire drifting down has taken the mark. Bullis unhappy. And Longmire, who kicked 2 goals late against the Western Bulldogs after starting in defence, has drifted forward and taken a mark within about a metre of the goal line. The angle will be about 75, 80 degrees, but he really should score from here. He has a chance to improve the angle, and the player's been told to keep away. Should take his time here and really shouldn't miss.
It's not unfamiliar territory to him, is he? John Longmire down there in the forward line.
5 times the leading goal kicker of the club. Now improves his angle and dumped. I think he'll get another kick here, John.
I think you're right. Dumped by Bullis after the kick for high, and I think contacted high also, so a second kick will be paid. So he's paid the he's given the all clear for the point.
Yep. And
giving John Longmire another kick, so he potentially can kick 1-goal-1.
So the ball actually hit the post before Longmire was dealt with. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the only way the umpire can give that free kick and still stand by the first score is if he considers that the ball had crossed the line before the infringement occurred. So Mark McKenzie obviously felt that the ball had crossed the goal line before the infringement occurred, so John, the score stands.
Does the angle have to be exactly the same?
No.
Okay, he looks like he's gold.
Now, the reason that is, Bruce, is the second free kick is paid at the spot where the second infringement occurred, which was an improved angle. so he takes the kick from the spot of the second infringement.
So effectively, he could have scored 2 goals there in that situation.
That's
now, here's
right.
the original free kick we'll have a look at. There's the Longmire mark.
It actually occurs after Longmire kicks the ball, so...
Yeah, that's the original one where Longmire got the free kick, or the mark was paid anyway, and then he had a shot, and then again he was dumped. So 1-1 to North Melbourne out of all of that, 1-1 to Longmire. They lead 2-2 to 1-1. And the rain has arrived here at Waverley Park.
So goals on the board early are very, very important. Back to 20-minute quarters in this second quarter final of the Ansett Cup. So both sides will want to make the most of the conditions before the rain does get too heavy. Umpires working hard to get control here. They've pulled out one. Robert Scott will take the free kick. Pushes back very quickly, wanting to get things moving. Finds Carey on the lead. Plenty of space now down at full forward. Steps around. Drives long. Longmire from behind does the spoiling. Good decision from the full forward. Gives North Melbourne the chance in close. Spun out wide. McKernan's there. Can't get foot to ball. Bullis in on the knees. Gasper to Benny Gale. Pushes out wide. Tate with a little bit of space now if it bounces favourably. It doesn't. It may not be your night, Jamie. Knight's coming, charging through. Beats Carey for the ball. Martin Pike in amongst it, over the line, out of bounds. A ball went begging there for Richmond, but unable to take control of it.
Dennis Pagan, tremendous record with this club. 5-3-3-1 in his 4 years there. It's a beautiful curve, isn't it? Upward. Holland, Pike at the back. Notice Longmire's now at full forward. Scott's quick kick, good effort by Bond. Little one off the ground by Bell was intelligent. And then Gale getting some kicks back to the centre wing. Richmond started well, but North's been on top. Nichols, he'd be very keen to do well here tonight. Bond crashes through. Kick might be effective in the end. Taken by Powell. Powell neat, but the kick not so good. Archer attacks as always. Richardson clever. To Naish. Can kick a goal. And that misses a behind. So Naish with a behind. Holland missed one earlier. It's 1-2 to 2-2. Wayne Schwass, there's Robert Walsh. Wayne, John Longmire's situation, playing at full forward. He started in defence tonight. He's gone down there in a hurry tonight, whereas last week he went down there in the last quarter.
Yeah, I think that Dennis might be just trying to change things around a bit, offset Richmond a little bit. I still think that the pace of the game is still trying to settle down there. They're pretty hectic, so we'll wait and see.
And it still continues at the half-back line for North Melbourne. Players aggressive and hard at the ball. Spills free for Knights. The give to Holland wasn't a good one. Under pressure there from Pike coming through hard, and Pike goes back into the fray. Spins out Rock. Now gets free on the second attempt. Drop punt in towards Carey under pressure from Tate. Couldn't complete the mark. The line's there for Jamie Tate. Decides to keep him. Good play. Richmond have the chance through Gasper now. Pushing up towards half forward. Big flyers wanted. Spills over the back. Stuart Anderson. The good back pocket. Sees the line, goes for it, and gives his side a chance to settle down.
So currently 29 degrees. We thought it was hot and sticky. Expected to get down to 17. It's going to have to drop in a hurry, isn't it? But got some light rain here. There's been a lot of thunder and lightning in the region. So it will be lucky if we can get through this match without some thunderstorm. King's little kick. Rogers pressured out of it a bit there by Stevens. Danilchenko in the end running the ball over. So the scores here 2-2 to 1-2. North win by a goal, lead by a goal. Winner of this match to play Geelong in a semi-final here next Friday night. It's a North bench. Saw Crocker on the end there. He didn't play against the Western Bulldogs. Campbell, Nichols, quick kick, centering kick. Laidley's got it. A lot of brave players at the back, North, haven't they? When you look at Laidley and King and Archer and Martin. Aggressive, but also very courageous.
They wouldn't get a game if they didn't put their bodies on the line, Bruce. Dennis Pagan wouldn't have them.
Bell, wide, McKernan the target, tries to go with one hand. Looks as if he might have been held on to. I think there's Prescott on the bottom of that pack. Anderson over the top. It's going to be another bounce.
It's interesting, both teams are playing a very similar style of play. The only difference is that North Melbourne, they are keeping the ball in the central corridor, but they've got Wayne Carey at centre-half forward. Richmond are bombing the ball down there, but at the moment they haven't got anyone to catch it.
So the three umpires in charge of tonight's game. Steve Handley bounces the ball. Ben Gale takes the knock. The ball just sits quietly the centre of the Waverley turf, waiting for someone to take it. And Anthony Stevens, always one very hungry for the ball, last man up with it. Stephen Jerica, nearest to us, the Richmond bench. Matt Manfield, taken from the draft from Fitzroy, also sitting there with him.
Free kick paid for shepherding in the ruck contest.
Gale having the better of that duel at this stage. The kick falls short of Richardson on the lead. Evans is the tackler for Richmond, but Mickey Martin springs the handball out wide again. Quick exchange in here by North Melbourne, but they're not making any ground. The pressure from the Richmond forwards is quite intense, and that is always a good sign for a side. If your forward line is chasing, harassing and tackling, you've got a real chance to kick a winning score.
There's a lot of pressure on out there at the moment, as you'd expect in a game such as this.
So a huge amount of players around the ball. This time McKernan, but he's reached over the top. And Brendan Gale picks up yet another possession. He's had 5 kicks already. That's his 6th. Wide of Richardson in the pocket. Archer with the body work. Allows Gasper the opportunity. He's been checked by Dalenchenko. Now it's the 2 Richmond boys on their feet. North went to ground, but North rebound into it. The quick hands. Archer finally gets the quick kick on the left. Knights the left footer. Feeds a handball back inside. Callaway down near the goals. Will he have a shot? No. It falls short. Archer again.
That's a poor kick into your forward line. Richardson had about 5 metres then on Archer, but the ball's been kicked to Archer.
Bell receives it from Archer in the back pocket. Impact player last year for North Melbourne. Was one of the surprise packets of the season. Held his place in a very good team. Gasper's got it. Almost up to half forward. Now he's going right across the ground. Shocking kick. Simpson couldn't quite get it. King gets a chance through the centre. Loves this situation. He'll try and lap up a goal here. Made a bit of a meal of it in the end, but then goes for goal. Close. He's happy. He's got it. Running halfback who just delights in having shots for goal. And that's going to hurt Richmond a bit. 3-2 to 1-2.
That was a great give then. About centre half back, one of the North Melbourne players, and it was so quick I didn't actually pick it up. I think it may have been Stevens, but it was just one of those quick gives from way down low. He was hell-bent. He probably heard a voice from one of the North Melbourne players, the ball into the corridor, and a lot of space when North Melbourne got into their own forward lane.
So Richmond with the first goal of the game, and North Melbourne rebound with the last 3. David King celebrating his 25th birthday today, picks up a goal from the half-back line. Gale drops it down, but it's North Melbourne with the quick kick out. Carey with some space behind him, the ball sitting there for him. Gasper comes charging in, too high.
That was crude then by Gasper.
It was.
It was crude. Look, before I spoke about aggression without anger, now that's might be an aggressive bit of play, but it's not the right aggression that you want. You want players attacking the ball in that instance. Gasper's taken his eyes off the ball. He's gone for Carey. Carey, there we see, he's got a split lip out of it. Not a reportable incident, but it's really not what you want to see. They're now lining up for probably a certain goal. Wayne Carey with the ball in his hands.
But Tim, you see that a lot now, where the player takes his eyes off the footy and just goes straight at the player. Actually runs past the footy on many occasions just to bump the player that's in the contest for the ball.
Yeah, look, I don't know whether you see a lot of that, John, but I really think that's not something that a coach would be instructing his players to do, especially his backline players. This is a goal.
So Carey with the rain falling from some 20 metres out, slight angle. The goal umpire likes it. Carey's got his first for the night. No, he hasn't.
That's hit the post. Terry, I put the muzzle in him. I said it was going to be a goal.
And I, for some reason, believed you, Tim. But as we can see, the rain now getting quite heavy.
You'll learn.
North Melbourne with 3 goals, Richmond just the 1. North in attack with the advantage. Scholl with space now, just needs to step around onto the right, curls it around. Come with me this time, umpire, please. Craig Scholl picks up his first goal of the evening, and North Melbourne's 4th.
As we see there, Wayne Carey having his mouth inspected there by the team doctor, Harry. Great presence of mind here by Scholl. He was a revelation when he went forward last year. stopped, knew he had time, went back onto his right foot and curled the ball over his shoulder. And both sides now will have to change the way they play a little bit. Perhaps the quick hands, if it does rain, the ball will not go where you want it to go, so maybe just put the ball to your boot as quickly as you can.
27-8. It's a good lead, isn't it? Particularly with the weather coming in now. Miranda was touch play on. You can hear the umpire. They're mic'd for this series. Laidley and also Campbell. Pushed forward by Evans, the boy from Springvale. Off the ground there by Powell. Richardson a long way out with him, Simpson and Prescott. Simpson will be pretty happy to see the ball go over the line and out of play.
Bruce, most players probably went out tonight with the moulded sole boots on, so we may see a lot of players changing their boots at quarter time.
There's the national sports bet odds. Richmond at 2.70 for $1, North Melbourne $1.40, so 5-2 on North Melbourne in the old language. They're hot favourites. You hear the umpire talking to the players. Pike, Fitzroy's best and fairest last year. Allison, Wayne Schwass, would you like to pick up on what Tim Watson just talked about with the moulded soles? A lot of the players going out with them tonight. Yeah,
I would have personally, if I'd have been playing, would have put the moulded soles on. But I think Dennis, being Dennis, will have his say at quarter time, and if not quarter time, definitely half time. I think if the rain persists, the boys will have to go for the long stops.
So Wayne Schwass sitting this evening's game out in the grandstand. Even though it is a pre-season competition, I'm sure he'd be very keen to have been out there tonight.
Let him run.
One thing in football is you can't beat playing. So these boys had the opportunity tonight. King from half back around onto the left. Fairly ugly looking kick. Giving Dean Laidley no chance, and the umpire, boundary umpire that is, adjudicates out of bounds on the full.
These conditions really do test your skills.
Robbie Powell on the left foot, dropping it in short. Richardson under pressure from the rain and from Mick Martin. Martin relieves that pressure with a handball to Rock. North Melbourne building a bit of a switch towards the members' side. Scholl does the right thing, just down to Dalenchenko. If he gathers this, he's got as much space in front of him as he wants. Doesn't risk the bounce. Kicks towards Tape and Carey. Carey in front, Tape doing the holding. The umpire right on the spot. Debate that as much as you like, Jamie, but it's clearly there. Short, Longmire.
It's a wet ball. Players have to adapt quickly in these situations. And on that occasion, Johnny Longmire really not hugging the ball into the chest like he should have. And I know I heard Lee Matthews speaking about the other night how players are instructed now training to take the ball in their hands, and they probably have lost the skill of being able to actually take a chest mark.
So Carey with the right hand just drops down. The Richmond players are there. Knights, Callaway number 3, Tape coming in over the top. And 3 Tigers against the 1 Kangaroo win out. Richmond with a flying start. The goal to Richardson. It's dried up since. McKernan, great tap out into space. Scholl running onto it. Left foot. He likes it. Longmire likes it. So Craig Scholl, his second goal, and really finding a niche as that foil at full forward.
He's a dangerous forward, Craig Scholl. He's been picked up by Duncan Callaway tonight. Duncan Callaway probably Richmond's best backman. That looked like a set play on that occasion. Scholl already running to that space. The other North Melbourne players not holding any space there at all. They've moved down the ground. Scholl given a free run to goal. A very smart play.
(5-3 to 1-2), big lead now. They've kicked the last 5 goals, North Melbourne, and Carey's been outstanding at centre half forward. Prescott, Campbell, they need a couple of goals here, Richmond. High torpedo punt to full forward. Martin, who's been taken off Richardson, and that job's been given to Archer. The snap by Rogers and through from behind, so 1-3 to 5-3.
Yes, Dennis Pagan not afraid to throw his players around. He did that early in the piece when he saw that Richardson gave Mickey Martin the run around, and that's been a good move. Archer's really tightened up on Richardson.
Anderson, good kick, doing the kicking in, gets it about 65 metres away. Allison, clever. Knight starting to get a few touches. Very constructive, found Gale. They need to build from here, Richmond. A bit one-dimensional, aren't they, at the moment? Bombing and not a lot happening. Gale again long, hoping for a mark. Archer from the side was the fly, couldn't hold it, but a greasy ball, it would have been difficult. It's going to be on the ground a lot tonight. Laidley off the ground, McKernan attacks it confidently. King there, but Prescott in quickly. Taken by Nichols, back to Gale, who's had a lot of possessions. Good kick, wide to Bond. They're still probably outside the area. Bond, ambitious handball in these conditions. Rock clever. Was it a throw? No, good. On the up and down the ground, I think, against Richmond. And another North Melbourne free, and they've had plenty in this opening term, and they've earned them. There's Rock.
The free kick's paid downfield to North Melbourne for the high contact on Rock there. It does look a little bit soft, so the free's going to be taken downfield, and Duncan Callaway is standing the mark at the moment.
North's skills in close tonight have been terrific, haven't they? The little gives, they've really worked it well. Here's Scholl with 2 early goals.
Half back in towards centre half forward. Carey will fly from behind. Simpson, a good little tap on in favour of his side. North can't get the numbers to it. Damien Ryan for Richmond turns it back. But it comes in again, right on the 50-metre emblem there. Simpson sets it up with a high ball, allowing someone to come in onto it, and that's Bullis. Johnny Longmire pulled out of that charge when he saw Blakey sitting underneath it. And the 50-metre penalty being applied as the ball is knocked out of Bullis's arms. You can see in the background the amount of rain falling. Conditions getting very difficult. And just a little bit of frustration starting to show in Richmond's play, doesn't it?
They've got to get the ball into their forward line a lot quicker than what they've been able to.
So once again, they just bomb it in with the long drop punt. It's at ground level this time. Richardson at that position curls it back around. He's had a go at it. And boy, gee, not a bad go at all from that position.
And that time he elected to be the crummer. He didn't compete in the air. He stayed down. Almost a very smart snap from a difficult angle.
Well, I think a concern would be that you'd really be looking for a small player to be at the foot of that contest, particularly in these slippery conditions. Holland marks the kick-off. In short to one of the outriders. Matthew Rogers. Outside 50. Interfered from the player coming in from the side, but the umpire had clearly called play on. He'd stepped around. The call was clear from the umpire. We all heard it. And the North Melbourne player was able to step in and put sufficient pressure on that the ball had gone out of bounds on the full.
King to half-back, Gale. It's an interesting one. We haven't got time at the moment, John, but that player came in so quickly from the side. Here's Nichols. Rogers didn't seem to get a great go. As Terry said, you could hear the call. Nichols outside 50. Going to go wide to Richardson. He's got him. So Richardson should score a goal here. Just a nice patient setup, that one. They took their time, didn't panic.
Well, Bruce, you have to think it's a matter of time. Richmond have taken the ball into their 50-metre arc 14 times to date to North Melbourne's 9. So, weight of numbers, you'd have to think at some point in time they're going to start to score goals. North Melbourne can't hold them back for the whole night.
It's going to take a good kick for Richardson, but kicked over 90 goals last year. He's kicked it beautifully. It's a good opening quarter for Richardson. That's a couple of goals. Carey's been outstanding at the other end along with Scholl. But that gives Richmond some hope, doesn't it, late in the term?
Well, Richmond certainly aren't being outplayed by North Melbourne, I don't think, at this stage. They've just got to restructure their forward line. In fact, I wouldn't mind seeing Richardson play up the ground a little bit more and bring Jerica on, putting him in the goal square, because he's a good, strong body player. We've seen him in the past. He's got good recovery. And Richardson is just a star across centre-half forward that you can actually aim the ball to.
So Matthew Richardson, the sole goal scorer for Richmond with the 2. And Craig Scholl has 2 for North Melbourne here in the first quarter. McKernan tries to take it away with him. Fumbles it to the ground, but Blakey's at ground level. His left foot kick into the Carey. Tape direction. Tape very good at ground level. Flicks it on out. Gives his side a chance. North can get the chance now through Allison on the left foot. And bounces away from Scholl out of bounds. Crowd now just at this point in time being able to put the umbrellas away. I wouldn't pack it in the bag just yet. Right in the forward pocket. You'll look for Wayne Carey to flick this one over the back into some space. Tries to take it himself. Can't get through. Bullis being aggressive and hard in it. Simpson there. Bullis comes back at them all again. Spills out. Stevens Again, touched on the boot.
Let him up.
So Richmond working hard. You'd expect that from someone like Ashley Prescott too. He'll never give up. Collarbone injury late in the season last year. Finished his season early. Very good to have him back into the fray now.
So 5 goals to 2, but Richmond with a lot of forward play in this term. Rock and building it out of play. Kellaway hold of Rock, just restricting him and knocking the ball out of play. 2 minutes remaining.
I think Dennis Pagan would be quite happy to have Martin Pike down there on Ben Holland too, because Pike is a dasher. Holland probably doesn't have the endurance or the pace, and if they are to break across that half-back line, then we'd probably expect that Pike does his fair share of that tonight.
Bullets over the top of Carey. McKernan doing the roving. High ball. Probably hasn't covered 10 metres. It'll be play on. McKernan and Simpson in there. Scott onto it. Caught. Handball away. Play on called. Handball back. OK. Carey again brilliantly to Allison. Allison pops it up. Gives Longmire a chance. It was going to be a tough ball. Came off his chest, but he competed well, Longmire. Brings the ball back. Tate's got a kick call here. Run it to the boundary line. Comes off Danilchenko. Off another player. Out on the full. Which way? It's going to be a Richmond kick.
That was good play then by Gale, just to go back and assist on Johnny Longmire, because Johnny Longmire had worked his man into the position he wanted him. He was almost going to take the certain mark then.
Johnny's kick to half back. Ben Holland up and boundary throw in right in front of the 7 broadcasting position here. So here's another look at this.
Oh, that might have been off Gasper's foot actually.
Ricocheting away. Pretty hard call, wasn't it? 17 points the margin. 1.5 minutes remaining. Second quarter final. Ansett Cup. First of 3 on this weekend. Campbell belts it forward. Handball by Bell was good. King off the side a bit. McKernan going for it. Bounces just on the line or just inside. Same result. Confidently played by Gale. He's had a good opening term. Back to centre wing. North with numbers. Naish doing the roving. Quickly kicks the ball forward. Had a couple of people running with him. Decided to belt forward. Those people have gone forward again, those players. Martin will run towards the line. Kicks the ball back in. Good take by Anderson. The tackle on him was okay. Here's Pike. Well played to Anderson. Tackle all right again. Holland's got a man in the pocket. Didn't see him. Goes to centre half forward. Miranda's got a contest with Blakey. Must try and go off the ground. King belts it away. An opportunity lost there for Richmond.
Miranda now making speed from behind. He's got King's measure, but King ever so slight dive in amongst the front and flicks it away with the fist.
Free kick paid for deliberate out of bounds against David King.
Well, if that was the umpire's call, it's totally incorrect in the spirit of the game. With a race like that, I think all he was trying to do was just get the ball away from the contest.
Just on that, the umpire has to be convinced that that was his only intention, and I tend to agree with you that the player was running flat out at the ball in that direction, so it's a pretty tough call. So
Miranda from outside 50. In short, the spoils there. The North Melbourne defence standing up to the pressure from Richmond well. Kicks wide, and this one again travels over the line and out of bounds.
And Gale's been a star performer tonight. Really, he's matched up with McKernan from the start of the game, and he's been terrific around the ground. In fact, he's had 9 kicks and already 4 marks in this first quarter. He really has had a lot of the ball. You'd have to say that Richmond's matchups have worked pretty well around.
So the Richmond centre-half forward, Holland, against the North Melbourne centre-half back, Pike. Neither gets the clear tap out. It stays in amongst the contest till Simpson with the left foot down towards Carey. Nice little give, but Scott couldn't get through the traffic. Campbell strong on the tackle. The quarter time, with the rain having eased just that bit. Richmond 16, North Melbourne 33.
2 players from both sides have actually changed their boots, Bruce.
Thanks for that, Tipper. So they've gone for the studs there. 2-4-5-3 with that rain we had in the opening term. Gale, but down to Scott. So North leading by nearly 3 goals. Quick kick by Rock. Carey was dominant in the opening term. Gasper's handball good. Gives Nation an opportunity. Can run away. Runs a couple of steps and bounces. Could have gone a bit further. Out wide. Gets to Rogers. Rogers inside. Kicks the ball to centre half forward. McKernan dropping back. Takes the mark without much pressure and then bounds away like a kangaroo, doesn't he? As he kicks to the rude boy himself. Carey in the front spot. Missed there by Allison, but it was a hard ball to get. Carey again playing a magnificent game. Scott's wobbly old one floating through for a goal. How's that? Thank you very much. Now that does hurt. Scott's goal, 6-3 to 2-4.
And it doesn't get any more efficient than what we just saw there by North Melbourne. They kept the ball in the corridor. McKernan cut across half back, kept the ball down at centre half forward. And the players are so willing from this North Melbourne side to run and assist. They just run to the fall of the ball. They always tend to outnumber the opposition at the fall of the ball. Carey, beautiful vision on that occasion too, and a good handball. And Scott, a nice finish on his left foot.
So the first goal of the second quarter to North Melbourne. Richmond really, they are the side of the looking to get the score on the board. Gale with a couple of goes, pushes out towards Miranda. Rock comes out with the ball, sets things up North Melbourne's way again. Allison on the left foot, short of Longmire, keeps the ball in front of him. Good work, Bell coming through, met solidly there by the Richmond defence. And again, the free kick's been turned over.
Thought he dropped it on that occasion too, Terry.
The free kick was actually paid for holding after he disposed of the ball, so...
It was dubious the way he got rid of it, though.
Yeah.
So the captain of the side, Matthew Knights, pushes extremely wide, right to the boundary line, with the boundary line umpire right there to adjudicate. And he's happy that Bullis can be awarded the mark. Bullis with the job on Longmire, bringing the ball slightly inboard towards the wing. Rogers does the roving at ground level. Nichols with the left foot. Pushing forward, just always trying to buy a little bit more ground, and the umpires again with another free kick. Pushing the back to Scott. To King, always ready to play on. Bursts through with strength. Right foot towards centre half forward, and Gasper floating across the top with the right foot, pushes wide towards the boundary line, too wide.
And you can say that it's easy. What you need to do is just drop a player like Gasper around Wayne Carey. But what a lot of North Melbourne players do now is that they do take their opponents wide of Carey so that he is one-on-one with his own opponent.
Boundary throw in at centre wing. Stevens quick kick up towards half forward, belted by Rock. Bell did pretty well to keep it in, Bell, and a good kick in the end because Rock had a terrific chance. Bounced off him, recovers. High ball back to centre half forward. Richmond with plenty of numbers on the ground. Scholl took it well, can't get an effective handball across. The tackle by Simpson, okay. Quick kick there by Ryan. Back to centre wing at the back pike. Did the disciplined thing down towards Laidley. Bond on the up. Laidley free kick though, and Richmond will be disappointed here. They had numbers and momentum.
Yes. And Laidley just read that crumb a lot better. He was front and square. The other two Richmond players peeled off to the sides.
Laidley short. Wants Carey. Got him, I think.
Oh.
Not, yes, he's going to get it. He had a fair share of it and then probably brought to the ground. So dominant, isn't he, Carey? Has a presence on the field anyway without touching the footy.
He's not starved of opportunities, though, is he, when they direct the ball back through you like they do, North Melbourne. North Melbourne really have taken Richmond to the cleaners in the early part of this second quarter. This is the 6th time they've had the ball inside their forward line.
Said it so often, he comes out of most matches with Ruck Rover stats, Carey, from centre half forward. Good kick, he's got it. Well, such a player. Can't underestimate his value to this team. 7-3 to 2-4.
Well, he's a greater player because everybody does know North Melbourne's game plan, and that is to get the ball into that centre half forward position. So it's not as if he's on his own when he competes for the ball, and he just makes it so difficult for opponents. His body work is just extremely, extremely good, and he's a lot quicker than you probably expect a man of his size to be.
So the captain and the best and fairest winner from last year, Wayne Carey, picking up his first goal. McKernan takes it out of the ruck. A little give to Scott. Hand turned towards Rock. Rock's been very good with handball here this evening, setting up numerous plays for North Melbourne. This one to Bell not quite as good, and Richmond get the opportunity to turn it its way. Laidley in front. Rogers. The assistance comes from Trent Nichols. A good little give along the ground. Archer reads it well, meets the ball from the back pocket, drives out towards half back. Scholl, no, that's not a mark. Bit of that by the Richmond player in front.
It's interesting. I really think Duncan Kellaway knew where the umpire was on that occasion because he grabbed the left arm in the marking contest and the umpire had no way of seeing it.
So the ball is bounced. Holland, number 16 for Richmond. Ben Holland, the brother of Nick. North Adelaide player, has been on Fitzroy's list. Didn't play a game with them.
And I see Tawney down there on the boundary line about to come on, so perhaps Richmond are concerned about their running division.
So the kick off the ground by Bond for Richmond. Just buys them some 15 or 20 metres, and again it's out of bounds. Jason Tawney, third year with Richmond, the year in which he really needs to make the next step up.
Arms free in the ruck. Arms free.
You can hear the umpire calling both Ruckman, Delanchenko and Gale to be arms free and have a go at the ball. It's still tight in the contest. Pike goes to ground in the tackle. Richmond back through now through Holland. His kick falls with Joel Bowden on the ground. The left footer made his debut last year, played a few games towards the end of the year, but just a bit of nerves there. The kick wasn't good. King charges it down, out towards the wing. Delanchenko for North Melbourne. Gasper there. Campbell comes in, appeals for the free kick.
Now that one is different, Wheels, because the ball was so much closer to the boundary line, so knocking it over the boundary line did appear to be deliberate.
Campbell's kick to half forward. Holland front spot. Miranda read it well. Took his time getting rid of it. Holland cut off. Couldn't get it back to Miranda. Rock, Bell, good give to Allison on the run. Chips to centre half forward. Bullison to Longmire. Carey, well done, Carey. Didn't actually go into tackle. He just kept his distance, which made the Bullers handball always a pressured one, but kick back to centre wing. Stevens on the ground a lot at the moment. The ball. Naish got it from Bond. Knight is going to take his man on in Simpson, and he's going to get a free kick for holding on. Got rid of it and then played for it by handballing the ball forward, and free kick.
Bruce, I don't think Matthew Knights has much of a choice in that, because really he isn't a quick player. He needs to be a smart player.
Gee, line ball, wasn't it?
Well, it's difficult to see how he got rid of it, actually, from that angle.
Long way from home as far as the goal is concerned. Kicks towards Evans in the pocket. Not much happening except for Richardson up forward. Archer so brave across the boot, out of play.
And it's the second time in the last 4 or 5 minutes we've seen Glenn Archer leave his man. Richardson's right back on the 10-metre square. He's attacked the ball, he's gone out, and he's just a terrific defender.
Just saw Joel Bowden back on the bench from that error, but now Naish has the opportunity as the umpire's bringing it back. Umpire Mark McKenzie, number 24 there. He's in control. He's going to keep it that way.
Be interesting to see what he does with this kick, because it's probably too far out for Powell to score a goal, so he's either going to sit at the top of the square or they're going to look for a short pass, but there's not much space down there. North Melbourne flooding their back line.
So Robbie Powell, 15 goals last year in just 8 games. Goes to the square, not quite to the top. There's good roving. That's excellent roving. Trent Nichols. If ever you were to define what a half-forward flanker's role was, that was it.
Get to the fall of the ball. In fact, I thought the ball might have been a bit deep. It looked like it was going to be one of those ugly long points, a punch in through the goals, but magnificent bit of roving this, and just that's exactly what you want your forwards to do. You want them to compete. On that occasion, McKernan almost grabbed hold of the ball, but Ben Gale, just enough pressure there.
3-4-7-3. Wayne, Trent Nichols is an old teammate of yours. He'd be pretty keen to do well against North Melbourne tonight.
Yeah, I think Trent will be very keen to do well, and you know, speaking from an opposition player's point of view, I hope he does well for himself at another club again.
Wayne Schwass, who's in the stand tonight, giving us some comments. The North Melbourne champion, who's sitting out the start of the season because of suspension, played tonight in the reserve, so he's keeping fit. Here's Knights kicking the ball to half forward. Good effort by Holland, couldn't quite hold it. Anderson read it well. Neat little kick along the ground, should roll away a bit and put the pressure on Campbell, who really had not a lot of opportunity, with Scott sitting and sweating on him out of play. He'd be keen, wouldn't he, Tim, to get back to 1995, where he won the best and fairest, Wayne Campbell.
He wasn't the effective player last year that he was in 95.
He's one of the bright young sparks in the competition, wasn't he, 2 years ago. Stevens. And again a bounce. Just thinking, Wayne, now who do you usually match up on when you play Richmond in the midfield?
I usually match up on Chris Bond, and generally speaking, it's a pretty rough affair, but generally Chris most times more than not.
Centre wing, Holland. Simpson tried a little toe poke in there. Rogers was over the top. Pike. Crocker, who's on the ground and is going to get a free kick at centre wing. Yes, I could imagine Schwass versus Bond being a bit toey.
Two very fit athletes, those two boys. So Crocker on the ground for his first run. Longmire's a player who's gone off. And Stevens, under pressure, just doesn't quite get it around where he wanted it. There's John Longmire. Brett Chandler in the foreground with a very short haircut. Former Fitzroy player. Gasper for Richmond, deep in defence. Towards Bullis and Holland. Crocker from behind. Well read, a very good kick to the top of the square. Carey in the front position, always giving his Rovers a chance. This time it's Dalenchenko who's there, but his left foot just curls away at the last moment and just the one behind.
Crocker so disciplined. Just the right kick, the team kick to the right spot.
Every player in this North Melbourne side is disciplined, and they don't go outside their game plan. And it's not by accident that you see so many North Melbourne players at the fall of the ball.
So Wayne Campbell takes the kick in just to himself. Two bounces now. Trying to set up some heavy shepherding from behind by the Richmond player. And really, Tim, just looking at the free kicks, Richmond are giving away a lot of frustrated free kicks.
Far too many.
With the tally just at the moment being 9 to 13, and it was down to 5 to 12.
It is a 50-metre penalty, and this hurts you. It's undisciplined play, and a lot of those free kicks that they've given away have been undisciplined free kicks. Players have gone too high with their tackles.
I think what's eminent is the number of times that they've taken into the forward line, as you've indicated, and not got a result. I think that's very frustrating for players across the midfield. No excuse for what they've done.
No, but you're playing the best side in the competition, Terry, and you really can't give them an inch.
So Craig Scholl going for his third goal. He's got 3.
That 50-metre penalty was paid because Chris Naish had the footy after the free kick had been awarded and just put the ball on the ground rather than giving it to the player that had been awarded the kick. So in that situation, it's a 50-metre penalty against Richmond.
It's like a wise old owl, doesn't he, Dennis Painter?
3 to Scholl. This might get rid of some of the hysteria that surrounded the Brisbane Lions on Monday night, seeing this. 5 goals the margin, 8-4 to 3-4. 3 goals to Scholl. Gale there, McKernan. Had an interesting duel. Gale very good in the opening term. McKernan's been great in this quarter. Wins it, but cut off there by Campbell. Kick by Rogers doesn't go far. Bond on hands and knees. King, good handball. Simpson. Crocker, hard ball to hold at the moment with the rain that we've had. Brendan Gale still getting kicks. Delivers to centre half forward. Richardson versus Archer. Then Anderson mopping up and kicks it long, as they so often do at North Melbourne. Crocker at the back this time. Gasper front spot. Stevens puts a bit of pressure on him. Dalenchenko feeling for a free kick. Ryan's handball okay. Trying to break it is Bullis. Under pressure. Powell. Clever back to Bullis. Bullis inside. Knight's trapped it cleverly. Then the handball was good. But Ryan under pressure. They're continually under pressure here, Richmond, as North Melbourne seem to be able to get to the ball in a hurry. Pike spins, turns, concedes some ground. Pushing forward rugby style at the moment, and Archer just pushes to the line, the Norm Smith medalist, and finds it. And he's done the job on Richardson in this quarter, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been good, but Richmond just aren't as slick with their usage of the ball as North Melbourne either, and that's what costs them space and time.
3-4, 8-4, 5 goal margin at the moment. Holland, Dalenchenko, Miranda. Free kick looking for it, wasn't there. Gasper, Anderson, Miranda again. Back to Gasper, ran out of room. Powell tapped it forward. Nichols has got it, can't get a kick away. Anderson out on the full. Now Richmond might get a chance. Knight seems to... Was it out on the full touch? Sorry. Boundary throw in. So North doing well, holding and frustrating Richmond as Richmond try to get a goal or two back.
North Melbourne always getting numbers back into defence. Kernan was floating back and positioning himself well early. Now Danchenko in with the ruck work. Hikes there. The umpire pulls the free kick.
High tackle was paid.
No advantage to the North Melbourne side, so it comes back to Laidley. Here across to Blakey. A little bit of pressure. The ball just tossed up high. Crocker in the front position must pick up the free kick. Crocker's a very good player to have brought onto the game at this situation. He just gives something different across half forward, covering a lot more ground than Johnny Longmire would have.
He's also never afraid to put himself in the front of the contest.
So he towards McKernan, attacking the ball. Spills free. Nichols couldn't complete it there. Eyes weren't really on the ball. He comes back with a kick off the ground. Holland's tackled by 2 North Melbourne players. Pike completes another tackle for North Melbourne. Naish to Gasper. Can his kick find the mark? Miranda couldn't quite make it there. And there's Archer again to clean up. He'll keep control of the ball. And the umpire allows him to do that and over the line once again. Tony Free in the coach's box. Jeff Geeshan sitting to his left. So those 2 men have a great degree of responsibility for the Tigers this year in that position.
So there's the margin and the time remaining in this opening half. North with a good grip on it at the moment. Richmond finding it very difficult to score. Archer kicks to the centre wing. Carey ran hard at it. Bond after it. Allison after Bond. Again Bond running to the line and out of play.
And Bruce, I don't want to be too critical of Matthew Richardson, but on that occasion Glenn Archer took off and ran away, got the ball, cleared the ball from the back line. Richardson was just standing there with his hands on his hips. He really does have to work on that part of his game.
Danchenko there, and with him Gasper goes to ground. Stevens, quick kick by Crocker to half forward. McKernan. Simpson read it beautifully, then kicks to the pocket. Scholes there, he's hard to beat in a situation like this. Kellaway worked him under it, now runs out of room, fumbles, and the ball goes out of play. So Tim around the ground, Richmond players just finding it very hard to get any space at all when they get the ball.
North Melbourne's defensive skills have been terrific tonight.
It's Bowden coming back on, was ripped off the field when he had a chance up forward and went short, and that ball was cut off. Carey works tape underneath it, rock hard, high tackle on Kellaway, not paid.
No chance.
Going to be a bounce. Kellaway looks a bit disappointed. So 3-4-8-4, it was 2-4-5-3 at quarter time. Remember, Richmond got the first goal of the match and then the last goal of the opening term. Danchenko belts to the front of the square, Bell onto it, good tackle on him by Naish, but the kick by Crocker. It's a free kick coming back here, I'm not sure. Crocker's...
Signal given's a high tackle, Bruce.
Coming back to North?
Yes.
So, had Crocker kicked the goal, would have that stood, John?
It all depends upon whether it probably would have, because it's so close to goal. The reason being that the umpire would have believed more than likely that the ball had crossed the goal line when the infringement occurred. If the infringement occurs as he's kicking the ball, then obviously the ball can't be over the line. But if it's after he kicks the ball and it's that close, then it is likely that it will be.
So another free kick against Richmond and another chance to kick a goal for North Melbourne, and Crocker's done it.
It really was the second time tonight we've seen a goal created from a boundary ball-up type situation. It was a set play, North Melbourne. They dragged all their players back up and they hit the ball long to the goal square. And Bell knew exactly where that ball was going. Probably unlucky not to get a free kick in the first instance.
There we see, Tim, we see the free kick against Paul Bullis there on Crocker. The arm over the shoulder as Crocker kicked the ball. So the ball hadn't crossed the line. So the all clear is not given and Crocker just has another crack at it.
It's untidy play by a lot of those Richmond defenders. They really are going to have to gather their thoughts at half-time and become a little bit more disciplined in the second half. It's costing their team the opportunity to win this game.
So Darren Crocker, approaching 150 games of experience, picks up his goal, and North Melbourne really looking in control of things as we approach half-time. Jamie Tate continues with the job on Carey. Carey has just been very clever in everything he's done. Never questioned Tate's commitment to the task. McKernan round the body on the right foot. There's space there. What do you want to do, Stevens? And Anthony Stevens misses a goal that really was sitting there for him to take on the left foot.
And what North Melbourne did on that occasion is what a number of clubs are doing in the AFL now, is they're actually dropping a player out of a boundary throwing situation, and they're telling that player, OK, you run forward. If we get the ball, then you're free on your own. And that occasion, Stevens there with about 20 metres of space around him.
So Campbell, for the second time this quarter, kicks to himself at the kickoff, buys a little ground and goes towards the half-back flank, and the umpire intervenes with a free kick again.
Gale just chips away to Naish, back to Bond. Bond to half forward. Little push there by Richardson, and Archer's just turned him inside out in this quarter. Richardson been beaten pointlessly after a good start where he kicked 2 goals in the opening term. There's Laidley and Knight's on the mark. Laidley pushes it hard to half back. McKernan worked underneath it. Gale tried to build it away. Simpson, it's a really unobtrusive play. He was a sleeper, wasn't he, in '96? Played all the games and in the finals. McKernan, clever, kicks forward. Carey tries to just push forward with a boot too. Tape to Kellaway to Shoal, and quickly in on it a couple of players. And there's Bondi, Chris Bond, who looks like he might have got a corky or something there. He's
It looks like he got a corky. In Richardson's defence, Bruce, I'd have to say that the way the Richmond players have been bringing the ball into their forward line, it hasn't really given him too many opportunities where he's been just one-on-one or had some space.
Bond off the ground, and coming on is Manfield, Matthew Manfield, for his first run. But Darren Kapler look like the way he moved out there. Fitzroy, so many Fitzroy players in the comp. Stephen Hanley, Mark McKenzie and Sam Cronje, the umpires. Tape, Campbell getting a few touches, but not much happening when he gets the ball, and Bell's got it at centre wing. So Bell, diminutive player but effective, kicks to centre half forward. Kerry decides to just sit that one out and gather the crumbs. Might have been unlucky not to get a free. Crocker, Naish to Knights. Give him credit for that one. Knights tries to push it past McKernan, but McKernan was too good. The idea was perfect. He had Rogers over the back, but the champ put up the big paw, and in it stuck.
And it is a big paw too. Takes the ball. Kick doesn't find the target he wants. Tawney couldn't complete it for Richmond. The ball spills free to Blakey on the left foot. Curling in towards the boundary line. Bullis going back. The interference in the contest. A push against Matt Manfield. Just coming on the ground there now. And the free kick going to Brett Allison.
Well, Robert Walls, he will have to be ropeable at half-time. He's seen so many free kicks given away by his defenders, and Brett Allison now lining up for goal.
See Allison there marking a spot in front of the man on the mark, just ensuring that he runs a straight line as he approaches the kick. Goals come pretty freely off this man's boot. 7 goals in the qualifying final against Geelong last year. Very purposefully slots this one through.
It is a game of mistakes, and you have to minimise them. And Richmond there at half-back had one player going back, take to try and mark the ball, dropped it, and then Miranda was in the box seat to actually clear the ball, and he fell over. North Melbourne then have the opportunity of getting the ball into their forward line, and a free kick given away by your defenders. So really 3 mistakes by Richmond players. North Melbourne line up for a goal.
That'll be a hotline, you'd reckon, right now. He must be very upset with what he's seeing, Robert Walls. 10-5 to 3-4. It's not the scoreboard, but it's the way that North is getting these goals. Campbell out of the centre. Laidley's got it at centre half back. Pushes it out wide to Archer. Archer coming wide again. Shoal, he's so aware. He's got very good vision. Lovely orientation out of play. Wayne Schwass, the discipline from North Melbourne is so obvious up here, and unfortunately Richmond have got very little of it at the moment. What's your #1 impression of the first half so far?
I think that you hit the nail on the head there, Bruce. The fact that the boys are just sticking at their game plan and doing the things that they know they should be doing. Perhaps Richmond, you know, without being too critical, just need Matty Richardson perhaps to come out to centre half forward, give him something focal. I just think that they're breaking down on their half forward line, but certainly knowing Richmond, they'll bounce back in the second half.
Well, Richardson has come out to centre half forward, but because North Melbourne are applying so much pressure to all the midfielders, anytime Richmond gets hold of the ball, they're under pressure to deliver it.
So North Melbourne by 43 points. Callaway coming through. The free kick was there, but advantage played by the umpires. So the Tigers go forward. Richardson completes the mark.
That's exactly what we're talking about, isn't it? Breaking away in the midfield and having enough time to actually deliver the ball to your forward.
It's one of the first occasions that the Tigers have had any flow into their forward line. Richardson now towards the top of the square. Matthew Knights was the target. Pike in defence for North Melbourne, off the ground, out wide towards the boundary. Richardson leading in the race for the ball, but can't complete it. Chris Bond on the bench. A kick in the thigh. Gee, what a durable player he's been. Just missing one game in the last 3 years for the Tigers. They hit him with everything, but he keeps bouncing up. Richardson and Archer. Archer down with the left. Naish is there. The little inside-out kick with the right foot. Anderson overruns it, giving it back to him by Bell. Under pressure, kicks wide. Mickey Martin just setting things up here now. Has time to look down the ground. Will give the smother to Holland. As to whether it was intentionally and Mick kicked it into him, I'm not sure. But he was there. And Dipper down on the boundary line.
Yes, Wills, as you guys called it, he has a Chris Bond came off before with a very deep corky, and I doubt if he come out on the ground the second half.
So Holland and Martin do the wrestling. Powell does the jumping over the top for the Tigers. But North at ground level win the ball. And through defence, just push it up again towards the boundary line. Wayne Campbell, vice-captain for Richmond this year. Sees his side in a little bit of trouble as we approach half-time. Danilchenko, I think, has been very good as an alternate ruckman for North Melbourne. Gets it down. Crocker overruns the ball. Holland comes back in at it again. North off the ground. Carey, the good little give to Anthony Stevens. His left foot. There's plenty of space here. One-on-one for Allison. And very well done from Matthew Manfield. Playing his first game for the Tigers, wheels away on the right foot.
He's going to enjoy that a lot better than when he first came on. That was a good effort. Rogers, handball, okay for Knights to Richardson. He's got outside of him Bowden. Goes for goal on the left. Good looking kick. He's got it. What wonderful football. From one end to the other. If Robert Walls could take one thing away in this first half and show it to his players, it'll make them feel good. That would be it.
That was their cleanest passage of play tonight. Started, Manfield came out and took a very good grab one-on-one. Very difficult to come out from fullback on that occasion. And you saw there Richardson just held Archer long enough for his Richmond teammate to grab hold of the ball. And that's a good handball onto Bowden. Bowden, a very good finisher from 50 metres out.
(4-4 to 10-5). Well played, Tigers. System for the first time in this term. Gale, Knights besieged. Gasper, Danilchenko. Richmond with numbers, but North force them back into their 50-metre zone. Now Tape. Good kick to Ryan. He's got it at centre wing. Maybe a lift here from the Tigers. Late in the first half. Knights on. He's got him. 60 metres from goal. Needs another short pass or a kick about 30 or 40 metres. Wants the man off his mark. King was able to hold him up and frustrate him a bit. Now it goes long. Knights, Richardson, Blakey, Marinder at the back has kicked another one. That's better. 2 in a minute. That brings some life into it.
They certainly needed that, Bruce, but for the first time tonight, and it's only happened in the last 2 minutes, Richmond have actually started to find some space when they've gone forward with the ball. Perhaps North Melbourne just starting to tire a little bit, and Richmond really do need to capitalise on this last 5 minutes of the quarter. Always a critical time. It's a time when you can hurt the opposition, when you can get goals in that time-on period.
And for the first time in the game, Richmond get consecutive goals. Joel Bowden, you can see just in the foreground of the screen, picked one up. Miranda answers with another one. So a little bit of a spring in the Tigers' step, you would expect. Didn't want this free kick to go the other way to North Melbourne, and Bell's the man at the bottom of the contest. Towards Carey. Does enough to take Richmond out of the contest and allow Stephen just to give it to McKernan.
He doesn't actually have to take possession of the ball to be an effective player, does he? He drew 3 players on that occasion. They all had to compete to stop Carey, and what happens, the ball falls to the turf, and there's one of his there's one of his teammates just waiting to pick the ball up, and an easy pass to Corey McKernan.
So McKernan going for his first goal of the evening. Into the man on the mark. It's a lie for the Tigers. They can't capitalise on it. North through Delanchenko. Now it's turned back by Campbell off the ground. Robbie Powell feints the handball to Naish, takes off. 2 bounces. Keep going, son. Kick a goal for the Tigers. Do it. Sets himself in flight. It's there. He's done it. The Tigers are coming back. So Robbie Powell, his first goal for the evening. And what a lift. The Tigers now have kicked 3 in a row.
I mentioned before that it is a game of errors, and we saw Corey McKernan having a shot for a goal up the other end a moment ago. Really should never have kicked the ball into the man on the mark. A turnover, and then Richmond are away again. They find space again, and Powell had the presence of mind then to stop, control the kick, and that is the mark of a good player.
3 goals in about 3 minutes, 6-4 to 10-5. So they're back in this. Wayne Schwass said a moment ago, watch out for the Tigers. We expect them to come back. And he's spot on. Knight's good vision. Long kick by Gale. Deep into the forward line. Richardson! Holland, I should say, but it was close. He had a couple of goes off the ground and on the full by Anderson. May well have been deliberate anyway, the way he was going. And if Miranda can kick a goal here, right on the siren at half-time, won't there be a buzz around this ground? Richmond charging back after all seemed lost.
Mistakes, they always creep in when the side's under pressure, though, don't they?
It's a pretty good kick, Miranda. This would take a super kick from the pocket. It's right to the square. Laidley still in play. They want it over the line. Well played, North, in the end. And they're going to force it away to half-back. But Richmond is going to take a bit of momentum with them into half-time. No question about that. Wayne Schwass, that momentum for Richmond will be important here at half-time.
Yeah, as I said before, Bruce, Richmond, you can't count them out. They're certainly coming back. I think that our boys need to regroup, and hopefully we can get a quick goal before half-time.
You see Miranda down there in the back line on Rock too. Miranda, a proven goal kicker.
6-4 to 10-5. First few minutes here should be dynamic. Richmond in with a chance, even though North has got a good lead on the scoreboard. So the Tigers going to the left of screen. And Mark Stevens on the ground for the first time, I think, tonight, kicking the ball out of bounds on the fall. There's Paul Bullis.
Good to see Benny Gale actually knocking the ball forward on that occasion. I've been a little bit critical during the game of his taps which have been behind him, because I think it just allows the North Melbourne midfield to get too much of a purchase on the ball.
Centre wing Bullis, so he goes high, gets to half forward. Martin in the front spot, worked underneath it by Holland. Good take there by Pike. Pike to Anderson. Hip and shoulder there by Bullis on Stevens. That's Mark Stevens, and the ball out of play again at centre wing. Pike seems to have fitted in pretty well at North. He has a sort of almost a small role, a small area to work in, and he's doing it with a great deal of discipline.
So he'll do the ruck work again against Holland on the centre wing. Rock coming through, his kick off the ground, kept in play this time by Mark Stevens. But the subsequent quick kick by North Melbourne is out of bounds on the full again.
Well, actually, Richmond were trying to break the tag on Miranda. Miranda's gone down to the back line, but John Blakey, who tagged him effectively in the first half, has gone down there and picked him up now.
So Matt Manfield, half-back for Richmond, drives along towards half-forward. Holland's the target player for Richmond. And from the contest, just spills over the line and out of bounds. Ben Holland's worked very hard at centre half-forward. Just see now he'll do the ruck work, and it's released Brendan Gale to drop down to the true centre half forward position for Richmond. So keen to get the break from here, but it's McKernan, Rock and Anderson who combined for North Melbourne to send it forward their way. Campbell comes back again.
And a real lull over the game at the moment. You'd expect that a side that went in kicking 3 goals in a couple of minutes just before half-time come out with a bang, but they haven't been able to. And this first goal will be critical to this game.
So Laidley now has his opportunity to try it towards half-forward. Crocker quick kicks. They're the order of the night just at the moment. Pressure's right on. Carey. Just that extra push at the critical stage puts him in clear in the front position to Anthony Stevens, and a beautifully weighted kick to Scholl. The mark not completed. Gasper couldn't hold the ball. Richmond tied up through Matthew Knights.
Armstrong getting a couple of touches on the far flank coming onto the ground as well. Armstrong and Stevens, a couple of changes.
Makes a huge difference to a side if you've got a player that can catch the ball at centre half forward, doesn't it?
So Longmire, Dalenchenko, two of the players on the bench for North Melbourne. Miranda starting in the back pocket on Rock. Working it hard, goes to ground though. Blakey stays upright in the contest. He has first opportunity. The ball ran down by Gasper. Handballs over the top. Knights, left foot into space, looking for a Tiger to run onto it. But North Melbourne have the lead. Anderson again for the line, and I think he should again be pinged. He will.
Pretty smart kick then by Knights. He just kicked to space. He didn't try and drill a pass on a 50-50 situation, just kicked the ball long.
So Anderson here on this particular push here, his intention's the boundary line. Robbie Powell took the ensuing free kick. His pass didn't come off towards Richardson, and again a boundary throw-in, but this time in the forward pocket for Richmond. Looking to set up with something across the back. Holland, a height advantage against Pike. He should use it by bringing the ball over there. Tries to take it himself. The quick kick. And really for mine, that's not a good option because the opposition player is always there and will always take the tackle upon you.
Ben Holland, whose brother has been a fine player at Hawthorn. Stephen Hanley, Mark McKenzie, Sam Cronje, the umpires tonight with their numbers. Copped a bit of stick at half-time from the Richmond fans, and the Richmond captain had a word to them. King over the line, so umpire gave him the benefit there of going for the points, I should imagine, and a boundary throw-in. Had a real temperature drop at half-time, so from the high 20s we're probably down to the low 20s. Humidity very high at the start of this match, and for most of the first half. Gale, McKernan had hold of his arm, play on called, coming through, Archer, so solid, isn't he? Hard man to stop. Rogers didn't hold it and carries away and bangs the ball to centre half forward, so North into attack. Crocker front spot, Stevens reading from the front, getting a couple of touches early, round the body, important here, Gasper and Scholl. Scholl works him cleverly, couldn't quite get the handball away. Tate there, Gasper ran into Tate. Well done by Tate though, to Prescott. He just little kick, Kellaway squares it to Campbell, using one another. Campbell instructing, goes for a bounce, gets some shepherding help, and then delivers to centre half forward. But there's North Melbourne left, right and centre. So Wayne Campbell unfortunately turning it over there, and Martin's got it.
From half back out towards the wing, Rock. He'll look to bring the ball back into the true centre half forward position. North Melbourne have got the targets there. David King's the one that goes long towards it, but doesn't quite get to Carey. And Paul Bullis, clearly 5 yards in front, takes the mark. Looks for the 50-metre penalty from Wayne Carey, knocking the ball out of his hands. The umpire not with him on that occasion. To Tawney, to Prescott.
Oh.
The trip's there.
Is that reportable, John?
Trip by hand is an automatic 50-metre penalty, but deliberate trip by foot is a report and a 50-metre penalty. So here we see a deliberate trip by hand. So the umpire pays the free kick and awards a 50-metre penalty. It's not a report unless he uses his foot to trip.
In fact, we've seen a trial by video, haven't we, this week with the
That's right.
an alleged
With the Essendon player,
yep.
Michael Crane. This could be more costly than a report too. Could be a goal.
So after a very tight opening to the second half, Richmond have the opportunity to get the first goal on the board through Ashley Prescott. It wanders away to the left.
You've got to nail those. You're not going to get that many opportunities in a game against a side like North Melbourne to kick from a set position from 40 metres out.
Ashley Prescott isn't a man who gets too many of those opportunities in a normal game.
Kick to half back, Holland couldn't quite hold it. It's not an easy ball to mark at the moment. Missed there badly by Gale, ripped away. King forces forward. Scholl, Gasper's had a very good quarter. I know we've only been playing a few minutes, but he's done some excellent things. Bullis away, Richardson and Archer. Bowden's a big left footer, remember. Handball inside. Knight's well done. Very well done. Richardson's a great athlete. Lately to go with him. Punch forward. Can Richmond bring it back in the pocket? Manfield ran it out. Boundary throw in, but some excitement there as Richmond charge forward.
Well, Richardson's pace then was extraordinary. He gathered about 3 players, and Matty Knights looks like he may have got a corky then. I think that he did collide with one of the North Melbourne players on that occasion. But Richardson really almost created something from nothing just by getting to a contest.
Holland at the back was looking for Nichols. Nichols back. Richardson well done though by Armstrong. Ran himself across the boot against the flow, and it's going to be a bounce. Yes, Knights in that effort to push the ball forward probably copped one. Gee, he missed a lot of last year with a bad ankle, didn't he? I think he missed half the season.
Oh no, that might be
somewhere else, right?
A minor knee injury, yeah.
Yeah, let's hope not. 6-5, 10-5, 4 goals the difference.
So Matthew Knights, attention the trainers, Paul Broderick, a late withdrawal from the side. So the Tigers now really under pressure in the midfield. Have to pull out all stops. Actually, Prescott had a set shot earlier. This snap falls 15 metres short of the square. Richardson 2-3, got it. Just too tall. Umpire Steve Hanley right in very quickly on the scene.
50 metres.
He's picked Dean Laidley. A little bit extra from Laidley. So heat going on. When a scrappy 4 minutes to open the quarter, but now it just seems that the momentum's back with the Tigers as he goals. Richardson kicks his third, and the Tigers creep closer.
Well, Matty Knights is coming off now. That appeared to be a knee injury. Obviously, it's a long way from the incident here. It's a bit hard to tell what he might have done, but there has been instances like that in the past where players have damaged their cartilage. And this again, Matthew Richardson, just athleticism, pure athleticism. Archer was in the best position. You'd have to say Archer's probably giving away 4 or 5 inches in height, but Richardson then just, and you'd have to say that was a dubious 50-metre penalty too.
Seriously, Tim, I mean, there was no need for Laidley to come into the contest at all. He wasn't involved in the marking contest. He's claimed Richardson after the mark.
That's what players are instructed to do, John.
Well, that doesn't mean it doesn't contravene the rules. 3
goals are different, so Richmond's kicked the last 4 goals in this match. 3 before half-time and 1 after three-quarter time. Danilchenko coming off and Stevens coming back on. Wayne Schwass sitting up top. Wayne, the first goal we thought was important. It took a long time coming. Richmond back in business.
Yeah, I think the tide's definitely swaying a little bit. I think our guys need to pay a lot more attention to the Richmond players at the moment. Perhaps man up and not take so many risks, and hopefully bounce back with a goal shortly.
Tate goes towards the boundary line and he does find it. So boundary throw in now. So the margin was 43 points late in the second quarter, and it's now back to 18.
It's a backman's best friend, isn't it, the boundary line?
And they seem to find it so often. And Tate pushing there, gives everyone a chance to regroup. Carey, Tate. For the goals are going to be pretty hard to get in the second half. Stevens, and again out of play. But now North having trouble finding some space just for the moment.
They're still looking tired, North Melbourne. They don't look the same sharp outfit that they started this game. And it happened probably 5 minutes before half-time, and they just don't seem to be able to gain their legs again yet.
Bullis and Carey. Got so many match winners, haven't they, North? So he's just got to watch them all the way. Campbell was good kick around the body, got some distance. Power's been quite impressive. Played the percentages, pushing forward. Bowden, can he take Martin on? The tackle was high. Play on called the advantage. Powell goes to the pocket to Richardson. So Powell giving them something. Richardson's kicked 3. Will he take Archer on? No, left foot. It's a behind. Thought he might have taken him on with pace and tried to run around him. But he went for goal, and Richardson with 3 has been a key forward after a flat spot in the second quarter.
And Bowden's been a good player for Richmond since he came on too. And Powell has given him a lot of pace across that half-forward line. Difficult matchups for Dennis Pagan.
So Laidley in short to Armstrong. He in turn long towards the centre of the ground. Crocker couldn't complete it for North Melbourne. It rebounds back in his favour. And North Melbourne now build run through the centre of the ground with Stevens pushing wide to Carey. He has Tape's measure there. Wheels it around. There's Rock. There's Mark Stevens, there's three of them, but the fly from Richmond spills it. Chandler, good give. Scholl runs in, Scholl's kick 4. So Brett Chandler coming on the ground, being involved with another very slick handball, sets up Craig Scholl for his 4th.
And really on that occasion, Darren Gasper, he had to take the mark on this occasion, or he had to knock the ball forward. In the end, he did neither, and Bullis really not able to turn around. Not enough athleticism on that occasion, but Darren Gasper, he's only a young player still. He's 20 years of age, but he'll learn that in that instance he has to do a little bit more.
4 goals to Scholl, 7-6 to 11-5. I wonder who the genius was at North that discovered he could kick goals. Kicked hardly any in his first 9 seasons there. 35 last year, and I think 21 in 9 seasons prior to that. Richmond forward, advantage given here. Miranda's at 50, long kick, right, there's a goal. There's the reply they wanted. 2 to Miranda, and Richmond get back, 8-6, 11-5.
And once again, Bruce, this starts in the centre bounce here with Benny Gale. Gets a knock forward. I think in the first half he persisted far too many times on trying to get the cute knock out the back, and North Melbourne had their momentum going forward. But on this occasion and in the occasions prior to this in the second half, he's butted the ball forward, and he's given his midfield players the opportunity to be aiming in the right direction.
Well, there's certainly no doubt that Richmond look a better combination when they just keep the ball alive, just keep it moving on, quick hands or flicking it on. Here they go again. McKernan wins it down, but the Tigers are on the defensive side to turn it back their way. Bowden misses with the left foot. Stevens in where he belongs, right in hard. Armstrong pushing and shoving on Holland. Prescott kicks in the middle. Joel Bowden again, left foot around towards him. Good contest from Powell. That's all they needed there. Naish does the tackling on Chandler. North Melbourne with the numbers. King's the runner. 1 bounce. Centre forward, Carey's caught behind tape. Goes for the spoil, can't reach across Tawney as well. Tigers looking a lot better. Combining the sharp hands, short. Joel Bowden, handball ran down. McKernan looks to respond back for North Melbourne. Stevens forward, Allison forward. Mark Stevens this time under pressure from the tackle from Campbell. Richmond staying right in the contest. Wavering not one bit. Bullis's handball doesn't quite make it. Campbell tosses up high, pushing back. Great courage from Rogers. Couldn't complete the mark. Gale's the rover, spins out to Manfield on the right foot. He's got Miranda on the lead. He has to prop. It's too high. Mickey Martin turns them back.
And kicks the ball wide to centre wing. It's a great contest now, though. Richmond seem to be winning more 50-50 balls just for the moment than North. Kellaway off the ground, out of play.
Yes, Bruce, you're absolutely right. They've improved in that area, and there's Anthony Rock limping off. Let's hope it's nothing serious for North Melbourne or for Anthony Rock. And there's also trouble there with Martin Pike. He appears to have hurt his leg. That'll be a blow to him because he's a tall player that's been able to mind bend Holland for them tonight.
Bowden, assisted by Shepherd, kicks the ball long up to half forward. Manfield at the back. Oh, beautifully done, Naish. Powell, we've seen he's a good kick, but he is a lefty. Goes inside, Naish under pressure. Good vision, goes on the left. Nice kick to the goal square. Miranda up with him. Blakey through from behind. 8 goals, 7 to 11-5.
Bruce and Tim, what a contrast of styles there. Robbie Powell couldn't go on his right foot. Got into trouble. Chris Naish, a natural right footer, looks so natural coming round onto his left. It just really stood there, the need for both players, whether you're preferred left foot or right footer, to be able to go to the other side.
And those smaller players with pace, they're starting to hurt North Melbourne.
Now, I know Dipper's been waiting for the Richmond doctor on Matthew Knight, so we're not too far away from giving you something on his situation. Short to Stevens, out of defence. So Richmond just clawing away at this lead. Richardson getting back to make a contest. Carey trying to set it up and deliver to half forward. Good effort by Scholl against the tide there. Kept his eye on it. He's got Stevens running for him. Again into the mark. Man on the mark. That's a couple of times that's happened for North. The most obvious one was McKernan when he was having a shot for goal in the second quarter.
Great play by Gasper there. Awareness is everything in this game, and that was the best example of minding the mark that you'll see.
Made one mistake in this term, Gasper, and unfortunately for Richmond it cost them.
So McKernan in the front position. Down it comes. Naish again, the quick hands. Manfield inside. Rogers running strongly on pressuring Bell. Prescott just a little push. Manfield stayed in the contest and Naish gives the run. They've set out wide. Miranda's the target. Blakey from behind can't complete it. Miranda runs in to kick up another goal. He's got 3 now himself. So Mark Miranda, 2 goals in this third quarter, 1 in the second, and really he's providing the catalyst in the forward line that they've been looking forward all first half.
Well, Miranda finished it off, but once again, it's the quick players around the ground, and Naish has come to life. And I would really like to see Chris Naish take that next step in AFL football. He's been a very good goal-kicking forward, but I believe he's going to be of great benefit to the Richmond Football Club if he can play up the ground.
Yes, Matthew Knight. So carried Knights out of the tunnel, back into the coach's dig. So on the ground. So Debba, what's up with Matthew?
Bruce, they've taken the time with Matthew. They still don't know at the moment, but he definitely won't be on for the rest of the game. And they've got that suggestion it's just a twisted knee, so I'll let you know as soon as I can find a bit more.
So a bit of drama there, carrying him back, the Richmond skipper. He'll be pretty pleased when he looks at the scoreboard. 9-7, 11-5. Armstrong's high ball. North needing one against the flow here to steady the ship. Ryan there. Wayne, Wayne Schwass I'm talking to now. What do North Melbourne usually go through here? I mean, do they think of all the team plans when they're starting to be tackled like they are by Richmond?
Bruce, I really don't think they have too much time to think about that. I think that the boys have to just get back to playing the way Richmond are playing us at the moment. That's just hard at the ball and just work in numbers, and hopefully the tide will turn.
Carey's gives good. Here's a chance. Armstrong goes for goal and pushes wide. So Richmond missed a few in the first half. And now North Melbourne. That one not all that hard on the run. Matty Armstrong missing out. There's Robert Walls. It's 9-7 to 11-6.
And Bruce, I was just thinking, when North Melbourne do get in trouble, they often go to Archer, but Archer's down there in the back line minding Richardson.
Prescott got it from Campbell. Prescott's away, and so might the Tigers here as they go out to half-back. Gasper under pressure. Good smother by North. McKernan again, a good smother though by Richmond. So Richmond actually matching North at the moment. North got a goal, they got one back. North make a smother, they smother. And here's that man in question, Glenn Archer.
Relieves the pressure across to King. And they've got a paddock here, the North Melbourne players. Chandler, he'll carry, look towards Carey. Front position, good pressure from Tape. Campbell, Tape again, Campbell again. Found a free player. All he's got to do is win the ball here, Robbie Powell, and he's away in towards centre half forward. Holland tries to flick it on. King's the first man back. Martin's giving him the support. No, it's Archer from behind. Now it's Martin, and they settle things down once again. So Matthew Knight's on the bench for Richmond, and John Longmire has sat the bench from early in the game for North Melbourne and was sitting there with some tape on his knee. North Melbourne still under pressure, over the line and out of bounds.
North Melbourne struggling to get the ball into their own forward line in the third quarter, as we see Dennis Pagan. In fact, a worried looking Dennis Pagan there, not knowing whether to actually speak on the phone or just hold the phone.
So North Melbourne with 5 goals in each of the first 2 quarters, and just the one in this third quarter to Craig Scholl. Bullis drops it down double-handed. Chandler, Stevens, the crew cut kids together.
Yeah, 6 of the last 7 goals in this match for Richmond. Rogers off, and coming on Jerica. I think his first run tonight. Haven't seen him before. Slimmed down, looks fit. Can grab a ball, and it could be important here. Burrell got around Prescott. Well done. Armstrong whipped it away. Ball ricochets to centre half forward. Good take by Carey. Carey, beautiful handball to Pike. Pike coming forward the first time really tonight. Goes to McKernan in the pocket under pressure. Hooks it back. What a kick! Just across the face. It's going to be a goal anyway. Scott kicks it. Well done. Scott getting maybe a lucky goal in the end. He got one in the second quarter, but McKernan's kick teased us all, didn't it?
It looked like it was heading for one of those miraculous goals, but it's just another example of just playing out those boundary line situations, just pushing the ball forward, just hoping that you can buy some time and some space. And McKernan probably aiming for goal on that occasion, but well read by Scott.
Robert Scott, number 8 for North Melbourne, breaks the run of 2 goals by the number 8 for Richmond in Mark Miranda. Miranda in the centre bounce. Free kick to McKernan. Plays on quickly to the running Laidley. Pushes out wide, Carey, and take one out. Carey too strong. Just too tall, too strong, too experienced, too good. Wheels around on the right foot. Shepherded on the line. It's bounced through. Duncan Callaway couldn't reach it. Wayne Carey's a second goal, and from well outside 50 just steps around and says thanks.
And how many times in the past have we seen North Melbourne go to Carey and McKernan when they're under a little bit of stress? McKernan setting up the goal before, and on that occasion Carey just too strong, too good, and a wonderful finish.
So they're 4 goals in front again. Wayne Schwass, he's done it so often, hasn't he, Carey? He's on him now.
Yeah, he's a handy bloke to have at centre half forward. I think that you know, when we need something special, he's certainly the bloke we go to, and once again he's brought home the bacon, so to speak.
Yes, and the move's been made. Tim Watson just pointing out to me that Gasper's gone on to him. McKernan's quick kick. So Tape's had a fair go at him, and now Gasper and Carey again. So some inspired football by the King, and a beautifully weighted kick. He finds his man in Crocker. He can turn a game in a minute and a half, can't he, the champ?
Well, it's just invaluable to have a forward that you can go to in a tight situation, and if you can get the ball down there quickly, and that's probably what you're aiming to do in a situation like this, is just get the ball into your forward line as quickly as you can, because they are going to be one out then.
Crocker from 30 metres. He's a good kick for goal. He hasn't let the captain down. So 2 to Crocker. Carey doing the damage. Crocker's one of those North Melbourne players, and they've got 2 or 3 of them that don't need a lot of touches to be very damaging.
Well, they hurt you. He's one of the players, Crocker, who was averaging over a goal a game last year when he played Crocker, and he missed most of 1995, but he's just a very handy player.
So North Melbourne building on the lead. 29 points at this stage, and they push forward again through Blakey. Scholl interfered with, but the ball spins to the left-footed Stevens. To Crocker, the goal scorer just a moment ago. This time the ball spoiled down. Carey or Rock. Rock decides to take it and gives it to Matthew Armstrong.
And all of a sudden, Richmond is starting to look ragged. A game can change quickly.
Armstrong coming on to half-time. Lining up for his 7th disposal. Unlucky to miss last year's grand final and consequent premiership. Very deliberate. This one strays offline and just the one behind. Really, it's just the quality use of the ball in the critical situations at North Melbourne are just starting to come through now, and just the little give there from Rock to find Armstrong was right on the mark.
Well, they do. They make the right mental decisions when they have the ball.
Callaway, that wasn't a good decision, handballing from down there. Rock with the opportunity. Callaway comes back to make amends. Gone for the line was Damien Ryan.
Gee, John Russ, I was just thinking, we haven't heard from you in this quarter. We were asking you every 2 minutes in the first half what was going on. The game settled down from the umpire's point of view.
Well, I think what does happen is when the game becomes more exciting, there's probably less opportunity to start disputing decisions, so the game just keeps flowing.
Bullis from over the top of Carey, pushes down towards the wing. Naish does the fly from the front. Nichols, the roving, the king, the tackler, wins the ball back North Melbourne's way. Laidley cleans up in towards centre half forward, pushing and shoving from a heap of players. Carey over the back. Scott had the opportunity, stays in the contest 2-3 times to Scott. Joel Bowden, a handball out wide, but Carey pushing on. Didn't get the kick up in the air as he would wanted to, and it rolls over the boundary line out of bounds. Jason Delanchenko preparing to come on.
And Benny Gale started this game very well, but the longer the game's gone, the better McKernan has been and the less influence Ben Gale's had on him.
Official attendance tonight, 20,747. Good crowd. Kellaway, Stevens, so Allison going off for Delanchenko and out of play. So North have quickly regained the ascendancy here. 3 goals in a hurry, and it's back to a 5-goal margin. About what it was at half-time. So Richmond have worked really hard to get back, and now they will find it hard not to be depressed about this situation and disillusioned a bit. Miranda around the body, touched off the boot, but free kick going. Now Jarika's gone off the ground, so he hasn't had much of a chance for Richmond. Naish at half forward, free kick. You can hear the umpire say he didn't have it. Naish kicks the ball wide to centre half forward. Say wide because he was out wide on the flank. Players finding it very hard to hold their feet at the moment with the light rain that's been falling. Kicked on by Chandler. Carey there, but Gale pushing the ball wide, misses his mark in Holland, and Martin makes the ball work for him. He's got Rock short. He'll just chip now to Rock. Some space now for North Melbourne, and Rock at half forward. Goes to centre half forward to Carey. Gasper at the back. Carey holds his position strongly. Pushed forward there by the Kangaroos. That was Stevens, and it's going to be a bounce 25 metres, 20 metres out from North's goal. Hear the umpire saying settle. They're going to get a free kick. Bullis playing for
I really think in that situation the #1 priority for Sam Cronje should be to get the footy and bounce the footy if that's what he's going to do. Otherwise temperatures just get a little bit hotter.
Bell awarded a free kick. The advantage given to Blakey. Probably wasn't that great an advantage in him off the boot, but it did go to Scholl, and Blakey gets it back. Some untidy football into the pocket. Crocker with a chance. Well done by the Richmond defender to push it away. Campbell's got hold of it, takes one man on. Left-hand handball, okay. Tawney away at half-back. Stevens trying to run him down.
Sets up towards half-forward, over the back. Good mark there from Powell. Superior judgment of the ball in flight than Stuart Anderson. Onto his left foot. Richardson, good body work, sets himself up with the left foot opportunity. Chandler does just enough to force the pressure on him, and Richardson couldn't make much of that opportunity.
That was good play then by Chandler just to get back and assist. Archer was out of the contest.
A very good player for Fitzroy last year. 16 games and averaged in excess of 15 disposals a game, did Brett Chandler. So he'd be keen to find a niche in this side. Delanchenko in front. Plenty of players in at the ball just at the moment, and will be balled up once again.
Just a brief point on that. We've not talked about the Brisbane Lions and all the Fitzroy's players they've got. Obviously, they've got a lot, but those other inclusions around the other clubs are going to be pretty important, aren't they? If Chandler and Pike can make it here at North Melbourne, they're the 2 players that Pagan's looking for.
Manfield's been an impressive player for Richmond tonight too.
On the other team, yeah. But if Dennis can get 2 players out of Fitzroy, then he's added a bit to a premiership team.
So the ball's bounced some 20 metres out from Richmond goal. Bowden's long punch of the ball goes to the opposite pocket. Pike, the first one there to clean up with a long kick towards the wing. Scott does the body work on Campbell and gets away with it. Feeds inside. 2 North Melbourne players running onto the ball. Bell's first there, pushes on a little bit further. Doesn't quite get it to Crocker, and it's over the line and out. Peter Bell, one of the real finds of 1996. Picked up in the pre-season draft by Dennis Pagan. Ends up playing in a premiership side. Tawney and Delanchenko. Bullis steps in now to intervene. Crocker, his handball intercepted by Naish. Scholl getting back into defence. Craig Scholl, 4 goals tonight, the leading goal scorer on the ground. Richardson 3 and Miranda 3 for Richmond. Armstrong left foot. McKernan's the target. Carey does the roving over the back. There's an open goal square. Bounce it through. He does. Carey joins them on 3 goals. 2 goals in the third quarter to Wayne Carey, 1 in the second.
Just thinking, Tim Armstrong, 8 kicks this turn. That midfield for Richmond with no Knights and Bond is suddenly exposed, isn't it?
Yes, well, they did well early in the first part of this third quarter, but as if they tied, I think North Melbourne players actually tightened up on them a little bit too, and since then they just haven't had any space whatsoever.
So 6 goals the margin now. I thought goals would be hard to get in this term. They've rained, particularly for North Melbourne late. Carey leading the way. Miranda out of the centre. Richmond desperate for one just before three-quarter time. Nichols has got hold of it. They have been able to get late goals in both the terms so far. Richardson was a hard ball, but gee, would have been a big catch at this stage of the game with only seconds remaining in the third quarter.
It was a pretty good kick. Actually, Richardson did the dummy lead, Drew Archer, and then Nichols aimed the ball for the top of the square. Probably just kicked the ball a touch too long.
Laidley to set it up for North. Into the back pocket to Archer. To King. And King keeping it close to the line. McKernan there. Quick kick by Bowden and out of play. So North doing very well there after Richmond got within 2 goals. So the Tigers, to make it, are going to need a huge last quarter. The odds are against them. The winner of this to play Geelong in the semi-final next Friday night. Cats with a nice break, don't they, between their quarter-final in Adelaide and the match next week. Almost 2 weeks, whereas North will butter up in the normal time. I say North, well, there's 6 in front. Blakey's kick to half-forward. Bullis to Kellaway, to Gasper. Just can't afford turnovers here against the North Melbourne forward line, the Richmond defence.
And Bruce, Richmond have decided to double team Wayne Carey. Bullis and Gasper are now playing on him.
Well, it's credit to Carey. 13 kicks, 7 handballs, 3 goals. He has been inspirational in his leadership. Been able to burst this game a couple of times. Danilchenko and Bullis, Armstrong, Naish, King and Miranda. Off the ground by Miranda. Anderson trying to give it to Bell, but able to get in the road there was Ryan. Back to King. King scored a dashing goal in the opening turn and then pushes the ball forward up to right half forward and out of play. There's Duncan Kellaway. Hasn't been his best night. He's so dependable. One of Richmond's first picked every Thursday night or Tuesday night when they pick them. There's a Crocker.
I wonder whether John Longmire has in fact hurt himself either, because he left the game fairly early.
Taking no chances, you'd think, Dennis Pagan, but he has been off the ground for a fair while. Get a chance, we'll check up on that. Naish's kick around the body, close to the line and out of play. So I know Dipper's down there listening. We might just check to see whether anything's afoot with John Longmire. No, we've just been told by Dipper that no major problem with Longmire at the moment, so just sitting it out. 35 points, North lead by.
So in the absence of John Longmire, Jason Danilchenko doing much of the forward line ruck work. They win that one away, the North Melbourne side, but the umpire brings it back.
Free kick paid against Danilchenko for pushing out in the ruck contest. 2 actions. The first movement was towards the opposing ruckman. We see it again here. Danilchenko gets rid of Paul Bullis and then worries about the footy. The free kick is paid for the 2 actions.
So North Melbourne now under fire at half back, looking to turn it back, but only as far as Joel Bowden. The little left foot kick is ever so close to the line. But Robbie Powell makes the ground. Sets sail towards centre half forward. The top of the 50-metre line. Richardson's the flyer for them. Blakey couldn't handle the ball at ground level. 3 Tigers dive upon him and hold it up. And umpire Steve Handley comes in requesting that the ball be his.
They work hard, don't they, North Melbourne, to get to the fore of the ball. On that occasion, when the ball actually hit that pack, the North Melbourne players were on the inside ring of the pack, the Richmond players on the outside.
Very forlorn Matthew Knight sitting on the bench. now sees one of his teammates, Chris Naish, receive a free kick from that ball up. Kicks to 20 metres out from goal. Falls short. Rock under pressure from Miranda, a little bit too high, and that's been picked up.
Terry, that free kick in the just immediately before the bounce was because the player had back-chatted Steve Hanley, so he paid the free kick for that.
And he's still calling it back.
I think there's a bit going on out there.
He wants John Blakey to take the kick, in actual fact. And Anthony Rock, watching his own personal statistics, already has 12 kicks at 6 handballs, and ever so much wanted that 13th, didn't he?
And that's given Richmond time to man up. There was 3 North Melbourne players loose out there on the far flank.
So Blakey will take his 8th kick from the night. McKernan, Carey, which one do you want? McKernan's the flyer, Carey stays down. Now McKernan comes back at ground level, flicks it on. Armstrong a little bit over his head. Callaway holding the front position. Pressure from 2 Kangaroos. Pressure from 3. Carey's there with him. He couldn't quite handle it. The Tigers now under siege, deep in the pocket. Gasper's kick. And that's the thing that falls his particular game down, is just doesn't finish his work off with a kick well enough. North Melbourne turn it back around to Dalenchenko.
Technically, he is a poor kick, Gasper, but on that occasion, it was just a poor option. He kicked the ball back into the middle where there was a number of North Melbourne players camped. He should have gone out wide. If he didn't see a Richmond player on his own, then he had to kick the ball towards the boundary line.
So Dalenchenko already has 1 goal. In his 4th year with North Melbourne, the left footer. Wait on the umpire. He's right on the goal post. Have a good look at it. It's just fading away. Very young debut, 17 years of age. Jason Dalenchenko made his debut back in '93. Really has been a good, versatile player for North Melbourne, called upon to do different roles at different times, ranging from deep into defence to the forward line. Campbell this time goes to Bowden. He in turn inside to Callaway under all sorts of pressure. North Melbourne applying it. Richmond finally with a quick kick out, try to get it clear.
Centre wing, Archer trying to burst his way through. Naish clever, nice kick, beautifully done. This could be a goal if it sits for Powell. He'll take his man on him, King. He's a good finisher, drills it, but cutting back Pike to take the mark. It was accurate, but it didn't have the legs. Pike, who's played a very disciplined game tonight. Not big stats that he got at Fitzroy last year, but I think they'll be pretty pleased with him. So one Fitzroy player to another to the next one. So Chandler gets hold of it, and then Armstrong. Armstrong quickly on. Back to Scott. What a great recruit he was as a mature player from Geelong. Kicks to centre half forward, taken by McKernan. McKernan with Jerica standing on him in this last quarter. So Jerica given a role in defence. Scholl and Rogers. Scholl off the ground. Carey there. Taken by Ryan. Ryan pushes wide. Wants Bowden. Should get him. Ball bounces. Bowden in the back pocket. Has time to try and do something with it, but it came off the North Melbourne player in Rock and out of bounds, and a boundary throw in. So Robert Walls will be unhappy with the untidiness that's been with Richmond for most of this match. 36 points the margin. North seemingly on its way to a semi-final with Geelong, and that will be a very big match next Friday night. Bill got it from Rock. Back to Scott. Scott from 50 goes hard to the goal square. Carey was there. McKernan over the top with Armstrong, and Richmond forcing it forward. Callaway, and a boundary throw in. So it seems that Richmond running out of options now. You don't know where they can sting North Melbourne in this match anymore.
The opportunity still sits with them. Jerica's their hope. Whether he can instigate something. Perhaps a move to the forward line may have assisted, but North Melbourne just unrepentant in their pushes forward. This time it's Robert Scott once again. Tossed high, Carey from behind. Just sheer aggression at the ball. Smart football. Steps up, sees the spare Anthony Rock standing some 20 metres out from goal, and without hesitation.
Well, Wayne Carey was on the end of it, but that bit of play then by Archer. Archer attacked the ball around the centre line there. He didn't grab the ball, but he pushed the ball forward, and he was ready to run on again. And that's just indicative of the way this North Melbourne side plays.
So Anthony Rock for his first goal of the evening. It's there. Anthony Rock picks up his first, and North Melbourne continue to march on.
Unselfish play then by Wayne Carey. You don't see too many forwards actually doing that, do you? Look at this. Just strong, and it's amazing how many times Wayne Carey takes a strong packed mark on his chest. His judgment's extraordinary.
16-9 now, so North with unanswered goals in the third quarter and with the first in the final term. Carey kicking it back to Rock. Rock's had another productive match. Bowden off the ground. Anderson attacks strongly. Archer pushes forward. Campbell tried to chip in. Rock, quick kick on. It's happening for North at the moment. Here's Jerica. Good to see him getting a chance. Belts the ball towards the 50-metre line. Here's King. Had to sit and wait and then just belts it to the line and out of play. Is there a margin, John, that is just too far away from the line to say it's deliberate?
Well, it's not so much how far away from the line it is, Bruce. It's whether there are options between the player and the line. And in that instance, there was no teammate between David King and the line. So, you know, it does raise that element of doubt as to whether he was deliberately forcing the ball over the boundary line.
Jerica pushes forward to Campbell, to Miranda. Out of play. It's been all right, Miranda. A couple of goals, 11 kicks. But North well and truly in control now. They've answered the challenge like the good team that they are. Quick kick away by Stevens. Off the ground by Allison, who's been on the bench a bit. Carey had a magnificent match and out of play. I just want to throw a curly one at you, Wayne Schwass. Everyone was talking about the Brisbane Lions after Monday night. Did they impress you up there with their depth?
Oh, definitely. I think that the players they picked up, Bruce, have been they'll be a fantastic help for them. With players such as Lambert, Voss, they're still to come back into the side. I think that Brisbane will definitely be a much improved side and a definite finals contender. But you know, it's a long way to go, so we'll wait and see. Hopefully, you know, they don't do too well against us.
Nash has got it. I just wonder, the last point I'll make on this, when people start saying, gee, that they've got the premiership in the bag, does that sting North Melbourne when they listen to that sort of talk?
I think that's a pretty big comment, Bruce. You know, to say that it's some particular team at this stage of the year has got the premiership in the bag, either it's a very naive comment or you know, they must know something that we don't. But you know, there's 22 rounds to go. I think that I'd probably reserve my judgment a bit before that.
I'm sure you would as a North Melbourne player. There's Rogers to half forward.
He's found Richardson on the lead. One of the few times that Richardson's actually been able to get away from Glenn Archer. Richardson, a good start to the game, but under a lot of pressure since then. Nash will fly in front and actually complete the mark, not awarded by the umpire. North Melbourne defence start to combine again. Armstrong on the end of the handball. He has enough time and space just to touch the ball to the ground once. A very well weighted kick, the little give on again. Allison couldn't get onto it. Tawney, good body work, just staying between him and the ball, but Callaway's handball was ever so weak and soft. Gives North Melbourne again the chance. Danilchenko, Stevens steps through on the left foot, a nice little give.
Show. Just, it's an error though, isn't it? It's an error.
It's an error, and then but then they had the capacity, North Melbourne, through Stevens, just to tidy it up and make it look ever so sharp from their perspective.
But North Melbourne will kill you more than any other side in the competition with turnovers, and Kellaway just had to give that ball onto a Richmond teammate, either by hand or by foot. Fully executed skills, and now North Melbourne lining up for another goal.
So Scholl has 4. Scholl has 5 goals.
Kellaway off too, fellas.
Yes, we saw Duncan Kellaway taken off, probably for that inexcusable error by hand then. And I don't want to harp on it too much, but in this situation, you really have to use the ball a lot better than what Duncan Kellaway did. Stevens, he's been a good player all night. He's this type of player, just keeps working no matter what the situation. At the end of the day, you look at the stats sheet and he'll have touched the ball 23 times.
9-8 to 17-8. So Kellaway off the ground. Doesn't play many poor games for Richmond. This won't be one he will remember. Still, every good player's entitled to 1 or 2. The thing with North Melbourne too is that we talked about Armstrong missing that, or you did, Terry, missing that grand final. They've got so many players and so much depth that those players that are sort of 14 through to 22, the pressure's on them every week to perform. They can't afford to let the next man take their place. They've obviously got certainties every week in their team, but there's a lot that are probably on the borderline. Powell, long kick to fall forward, working to the front was Pike. He's been pretty impressive, Pike. Without being repetitious, he's done everything asked of him, and he's done it well. Cross to Chandler. Chandler to King. King chips away cleverly to Anderson at half-back. Very neat Anderson, isn't he? Kicks the ball well, runs well. He had hamstring problems going into the grand final last year. Missed the prelim final with a hamstring. Bell, and out of play. How have those Fitzroy players fitted in, Pike and Chandler, Wayne? Kick by Bell to half forward. Carey there with Gasper. Gasper back to Tate. It's where Richmond have looked a bit shaky, haven't they? Coming out of defence and giving the little handball. McKernan belts it across the ground towards half forward. Well played by Lady to push it on. Danilchenko to provide Rock with some cover. Rock going for his second goal in the quarter. He's got it. Carey just stands in the road, does the job. Another one. So Anthony Rock could probably thank Wayne Carey for a couple, though that was good play also by other players around him. Yeah.
Laidley then knocked that ball on. You watch this in this. Laidley just getting a hand to the ball, having the presence of mind to know that Danilchenko and Rock were there. And Rock, another one of those North Melbourne midfielders who just continues to work.
Nine, 18-8, so it's a 9-goal game now. North well and truly on its way to the semis.
And they've just continued to build upon the lead all night. 17 points at quarter time, 25 at half time, 35 at three-quarter, and now out to 54. And that won't be the end of the scoring, I wouldn't suggest. Matthew Armstrong will have his opportunity to add to the goal-scoring list. Very good mark. Frustration from the Richmond defence.
That's untidy, isn't it? And there's a couple of things that Richmond can work on. We mentioned before about their half-back line. Probably not sure enough with their ball handling tonight. It's critical. It's critical maybe to make areas there.
Well, it doesn't really cause an undue delay in that case, Bruce. The player was already on the ground, so it didn't really cause an undue delay. But in the context of the game of footy, I can certainly understand why scragging the player after he's gone to ground like that probably could be.
So Matthew Armstrong turned 30 years of age last week, kicks his first goal for the night.
But John, can I just go back to that one moment, because we had an example, I think, in the third quarter when we had a North Melbourne player, Laidley, who put pressure on Richardson. Now, what's the difference between these two examples then?
Well, Richardson wasn't on the ground. In that instance, Armstrong was. So in that sense, it caused an undue delay with the Richardson one, but it didn't with that one.
Nine-8, 19-8, so it's fallen apart, hasn't it, for Richmond in this term. Carey coming off the ground, 14 kicks, 7 marks, 9 handballs, 3 goals. Fantastic game. Mark Stevens coming on. Scholl pushing out wide, with him Manfield. Manfield running towards the line, out of play. Wayne, I know you can hear me now. Manfield, a Fitzroy player playing for Richmond. What about Pike and Chandler and their acceptance at North Melbourne?
Yeah, well, Brett Chandler's first game tonight. He's worked hard the last couple of weeks since arriving at the club, but very impressed with Marty Pike. He's, his reputation probably has preceded him a little bit. A pretty colourful character, but certainly since the time he spent at North Melbourne, he's been nothing short of professional, and his attitude is vindicated by the coach, showing a fair amount of confidence. And the last 2 games in the senior side, so hopefully Marty Pike can turn things around and have a good career with North Melbourne.
McKernan to Bell, Bell to the pocket. Tate gets a high tackle, no free kick as he was trying to go through. There was Rock. Armstrong, who's had a lot of possessions in this term, close to the line, still in play. Handball by Manfield. Richmond out of defence. Think it might have been Tawney to half-back. Oh, McKernan ripping it away from Danilchenko, his teammate, and takes the mark just outside 50.
And the longer the game has gone, the more influence Corey McKernan's had.
So often he does it, doesn't he? And the grand final was typical of that, where he continues to keep going and becomes more and more influential. Kicks from outside 50, almost to the square. Shoal front spot, belted away by Manfield. Allison in the pocket, normally clever. Oh, there's a goal. Rock's got it from Allison. A beauty. Well, what about that? 20 goals, 8 to 9 goals, 8. That was spectacular.
Well, for a start, Corey McKernan, he pulled his kick. He actually just kicked for height to the designated spot. There's a contest, and this is just a wonderful bit of squaring up then by Allison. And I'm not sure whether or not that was a set play, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
You wouldn't see better at Wembley Stadium, would you? That was just perfect.
No.
So what a
They got a net to catch the ball there too, Terry.
Just Wayne Schwass, I know you've got to leave and go to the rooms. Thanks, mate, for your contribution, and look forward to having you back soon.
Thanks, Bruce.
Terrific effort. 20 goals, 8 to 9 goals, 8. North Melbourne by 11.
And for the fourth quarter in the game, they've kicked 5 goals. Just surging forward, numbers at the contest. Richmond players continue to battle at it, but really they've just been outplayed by a superior side here tonight. Weakened by the loss of Paul Broderick before the game. A prolific ball winner for the Richmond side. Matthew Knights and Chris Bond on the bench through injury. Be that as it may, North Melbourne have continued on. Anthony Rock has kicked 3 goals in the last quarter. He's now kicked 3 goals, 1.
It's a procession now. And I think Robert Walls would be a little bit disturbed by what he's seeing out there at the moment too, because a lot of the Richmond players don't appear to be going as hard at the ball as what you would like when you coach a side.
Well, they have their captain off the ground. Matthew Knights, Deputy Vice Captain Duncan Callaway off the ground. So Wayne Campbell is the only office bearer, so to speak. Here he is, the Vice Captain of the side, trying to lift his team at the late stage of the game. Pushes out wide. Richardson well up the ground. Nearly at half back. Brings it back inboard. Dangerously. Gale couldn't complete it. Tawney flicks it on. Good body work there from King Getty in front of Naish, winning it his way. Trent Nichols wrapped up in the Simpson tackle, and it's watered in the back. Off the ball, the decision was made to Stuart Anderson. Pushes out wide. Shoal in the front position. Stevens at ground level, tosses it up. It'll bounce over the back. The quicker players ask for this one. Stevens gathers it in, flicked out the back, over the line, out of bounds.
Kicked the last 9 goals in the match, North. At one stage it was 11 goals to 9 in the third quarter as McKernan comes off. So Carey and McKernan, the 2 giants at North Melbourne, off the ground. So it was 9 goals to 11 at one stage.
Actually, I asked Dennis Pagan before the game tonight whether or not he felt that he should be resting McKernan and Carey in games like this, and he just felt that, unlike Essendon, who rested Hurd last weekend, that you just can't flirt with form.
Well, he'll be pleased with both of them. Carey was absolutely inspirational, and McKernan, after a slow start, has worked his way back into it. And yes, we're not going to argue with that. Already at 25. A fully fledged one, I think, don't you? So ducking the head, the umpire says. So holding the footy. Richmond trail 9-8 to 2010. And Tawney from half back to centre wing. Archer just works Richardson underneath it cleverly, and then pushes the ball to Anderson. Takes his man on Anderson, and then belts the ball back to the forward line. Richmond with numbers. Good mark, that one by Bullis. They've been under siege, haven't they? These are tall defenders for Richmond.
Well, if you want a practical example of how they've dominated this last quarter, they've taken it into their forward line 15 times to 5, North Melbourne.
Nichols chips to Campbell. Campbell at half-back, back to Nichols. In trouble, caught. Handball to Ryan. Ryan out wide. Now Prescott squares it up. Gale, who started brilliantly, but not a good kick. King able to belt the ball away. Allison chasing along with Blakey, and Blakey pushes to the line and finds it. So a boundary throw in front of the 7 commentary position with the score here 2010 North to 9-8. Dennis Pagan with this quite brilliant record at North Melbourne, as we said, 5th in his first season, then 3rd and 1st in what's now the Coca-Cola Premiership. Won the Ansett Cup 2 years ago, semi-finalist last year, and he's into the semi-final again this year. You're smiling, Terry. You reckon they're good figures for a coach?
That's sensational figures for a coach. And Dennis really has done an exceptional job with North Melbourne. Has some great talent at his disposal, but he still has to be able to produce the goods. Richmond now have the opportunity. Nation half forward to Miranda. Miranda goes to the top of the square. Good disciplined kick. Jerica couldn't complete the mark. He has Martin to continue with. Mick just sits off the contest. Bell back to Chandler. The quick kick out. Simpson has space just to run onto it. Stays upright. Down goes Nichols. If there was help in that, says the umpire, and gives him a push in the back.
And that's where Tawney perhaps needs to learn a little bit more about AFL football. He peeled off too early. He made it a one-on-one contest when he should have been really getting across to the contest and making it 2-on-1. Richmond did have the numbers around.
Take it easy.
So Tawney's short kick falls short of the mark. Prescott this way, that way, back inside again on the right foot. In Jerica in front, interfered with by Nick Martin, will pick up the free kick. Well, Mick give a free kick away at any stage of a game would not be happy, even as his side leads so comfortably now. Still gives that sourly look towards the umpire.
That's interesting because Mick Martin used to be the mainstay of the North Melbourne backline. Tonight he's just played a supporting role, and Archer has really fitted in beautifully and been a pillar of strength back there.
Stephen Jerica. Hamstring injury. Loss of form last year really did impede his progress from what was a good debut year in '95. Couldn't complete it, and just the one behind. And really, he's the type of boy that Robert Walls needs to stand up. He's so frustrating. 2 years ago, he did show quite some potential as a forward, but hasn't yet been able to go on.
Well, it releases Richardson, doesn't it?
So back inside again. Good mark to Danchenko. Quite prepared just to hold things up now in the back pocket. To wing position. Pat gathers. Bullis flies from behind and actually roves that ball himself. Back to Damien Ryan. He under pressure. The kick just bounces just inside. Joel Bowden couldn't do anything with it, and it's over the line and out once again.
Just thinking too that Robert Walls would be a bit frustrated because a lot of these players at Richmond played better football under John Northey in '95 than they have under Robert Walls so far. So he'd be wanting a lot of them to step up this year. Big season for the club and for Robert.
Is he feeling frustrated or feeling the pressure?
Well, I guess coaches feel both of those through a season, don't they?
Definitely.
You'd know better than anybody.
I think they feel those during the quarter of football.
Campbell, centre wing, high ball, hoping for a mark up forward. Bit of pushing and shoving. Richardson belts it back, but North onto it. There's Simpson getting some late kicks. Centre wing, Armstrong, good second half. Tried to give it off. Bell doesn't get a lot of touches, but normally constructive. Then pushes out. We'll get one there. Free kick in the back.
And Bruce, you have to be a little bit wary about reading too much into this form this early in the year because some sides are a bit more advanced in their preparation than others.
Stevens front spot at the back. Holland pushing the ball out of play and a boundary throw in. Yes, in isolation, if you took form from any club, you could be misread. I mean, Carlton in '95 lost to Sydney and St Kilda in consecutive weeks, and in isolation, you say they were struggling. They'd be out of the Ansett Cup at that stage, wouldn't they?
And Richmond last year lost 9 games by 20 points or less, so they really weren't that far away.
Don't look.
So, Bullis at the back. Campbell, quick kick, high ball, out to half back. Good take there by Nichols.
Take it.
To Tawney into the centre. Richardson, long way from home, kicks the ball to half forward. Chance here for the Tigers. Rogers onto it. Pike cribs a metre or two over the mark. Centering kick. Archer getting back. Oh, he's a good player. Off hands, they say. The umpires. Archer still there. Blakey off the ground. Stevens over the top. Archer might have copped the backhander, didn't worry about it at all. Miranda going towards the pocket, under pressure, paddling it in front. Blakey with him, careful not to give away a free. Rogers, neat kick to the front of the square. Martin strong, Jerica with him. Mickey paddling towards the line, and he's won himself a free kick, I think, Mickey. He'll be happy with that. Squares the ledger.
The boy from Newport, Mickey Martin. actual fact, the West Newport Football Club running a fundraising effort based upon the career of Nicky Martin. From deep in defence, puts it out towards half back. The fly was from Longmire. Good to see him back on the ground, so he is injury free. Kick forward by the Tigers. Scholl turns it back around. Armstrong on the burst again. The left footer probes the ball in. It'll bounce into the square and skip through. The umpire's pulled up the free kick for the Shepherd.
And once again, it was an error by a Richmond defender. Manfield went for the mark, dropped it. And North Melbourne running hard.
This one's a good example. The Shepherd occurs before the ball crosses the line, so there's no second kick. The umpire gives the all clear because of the goal, and the goal stands. No second kick at goal.
21-10, 9-9. Armstrong, 12 kicks and 3 handballs in the second half, sitting it out the first half on the bench, so terrific effort for him. Tenelchenko copped a hard one in the centre square and again a bounce. North Melbourne to play Geelong now in the semi-final. Richmond to go back into the practice match situation before the opening round on that Easter weekend. Good stretch by Gale. Chandler out of the centre. Mark taken by Bowden. Swings it wide. Gets to Manfield. Manfield delivers to half forward. Oh, Archer, well played. You'd think it was the first minute of a big match the way he did that. To King. He was so desperate and so clean in his take of the ball, but the ball's coming back here. I think advantage was given to North.
That's right, Bruce. The players were a bit confused and everybody hesitated a bit, but the advantage call was clear.
Manfield just off the side and Scott takes the mark. Scott to Armstrong, really enjoying the freedom in the second half. Belts it forward. Bullis under pressure from Longmire, under great pressure from Longmire. Stevens back to Longmire, and Longmire around the corner, and as he did in the opening round, he's kicked a late goal. Longmire finishes with